161. Beido's life-cutting formation. Sneak attack on the spirit of the secret realm. Jai Xingzi was silent for a moment, then said, "It's not too late now. As long as we work together, no matter how capable Lu Changsheng is, he won't escape death. Have you all forgotten how the first emperor died suddenly 2,000 years ago?" Upon hearing this, everyone's spirits lifted. 2,000 years ago, the first emperor cultivated the human emperor ancestral dragon scripture. He first refined a complete dragon corpse, and later unified the world, gaining the dragon chi blessing of the entire divine land. His strength was countless times stronger than that of an ordinary nine-tribulation martial god. But even someone as powerful as the first emperor could not escape a sudden death under the schemes of the three teachings and six sects. Even if Lu Changsheng obtained the great brightness fist imprint personally passed down by the Buddha, his strength would be less than half of the first emperor's peak, so what is there to fear? That's right, I agree with Jai Xingzi's view. This world cannot have a second first emperor. Lu Changsheng must not be allowed to live. From afar, a large mass of black devilish chi surged, and soon, a black-robed man, like a pillar supporting the heavens, emerged from it, exuding an aura of wild dominance. Ren Wenchen, how dare a demonic path fanatic like you appear before us righteous sects? Seeing the black-robed man appear, Xu Zongwu, the sect master of the 10,000 Manifestations sect, immediately looked displeased. His 10,000 Manifestations sect and the Heavenly Demon sect were mortal enemies, and they had even opened several battlefields. Brother Xu, you are mistaken. Now we are all in the same boat, why cling to the distinction between righteous and demonic path? Shang Chu stepped forward to ease the atmosphere. The direct bloodline of the great Qin dynasty was almost wiped out. If Lu Changsheng were also killed, wouldn't his Shang clan's chance to dominate the world come? So he firmly stood with Jai Xingzi. This place is too close to the imperial city and is not suitable for a long stay. If you intend to eliminate the demon, you can discuss it with me in a hidden place. Jai Xingzi waved his horsetail whisk and said to everyone, "My mysterious maiden sect does not wish to get involved in this matter." "Excuse me." Ruan Yun shook her head, turned, and flew away. Lu Changsheng's 4 lightning tribulations allowed him to refine a divine infant into form. Now, only a day or two later, he had not only condensed a complete divine infant but also opened his divine apertures. This terrifying growth rate and bizarre realm strength made her dare not oppose him. But she also did not kindly remind everyone, because doing so would clearly favor Jai Xingzi's side. Amitabha, this old monk dislikes conflict and can only apologize to all benefactors. Reverend Nianshu chanted a Buddhist name and also took his leave. Afterward, Bai Zhang of the Mei County Bai clan and Miu of the Danyang Mi clan also left consecutively. With 4 people gone, the number of martial gods on the scene immediately decreased by nearly half. A bunch of cowards, it's fine if they leave, lest they get in the way. Ren Wenchen, the demon sect leader of the heavenly demon sect, snorted coldly, his expression disdainful. Jai Xingzi's expression turned slightly cold, and he cupped his hands, saying, "Those who still wish to leave, feel free to do so. However, if you leave now and then jump out later to be a fisherman, don't blame this poor Taoist for being merciless. My Fang Xian sect can deal with Lu Changsheng with you, but there is one condition," said Lu Sheng, the sect master of the Fang Xian sect. "Brother Lu, please speak." Jai Xingzi said, although the Fang Xian sect focused on alchemy and didn't engage much in fighting, they played a crucial role in plotting against the first emperor back then. Plus, their terrifying network of connections accumulated through alchemy. It could be said that they were definitely the backbone of the anti-Lu alliance. Even if Lu Sheng didn't want to join, Jai Xingzi would use various means to force him to join. That is, everyone needs to help me resurrect our Fang Xian sect's ancestor, Xu Fu. Lu Sheng's words were shocking. What, Xu Fu can still be resurrected? Wasn't he executed by the first emperor 2,000 years ago? Everyone was greatly shocked upon hearing this. Our ancestor naturally left a contingency plan back then, Lu Sheng said with a proud expression, but then sighed, the conditions for resurrecting the ancestor are extremely harsh and require everyone's combined effort. Originally, I had no such intention, but everyone is very clear about the ancestor's abilities. Only by resurrecting him can we ensure that eliminating Lu Changsheng is foolproof. At this moment, Lu Changsheng's figure had already appeared within the Great Qin Imperial Mausoleum. Being an emperor, for cultivators, was not a particularly pleasant thing, as they had to deal with a large amount of government affairs every day, which undoubtedly greatly reduced their cultivation time. As for the imperial level of enjoyment, with strength, what couldn't be enjoyed? In the Great Qin dynasty, only direct descendants with ordinary martial Dao talent would inherit the position of emperor. Those with even a little martial Dao talent, even if they became emperor, would probably voluntarily abdicate, like Emperor Zhengdu Qin Junyi. This led to a considerable number of Great Qin emperors over the past 2,000 years. Aside from those who died of old age, there were many who died unexpectedly or were deposed by the imperial clan for their debauchery. There were over 30 such individuals, adding the kings of the Qin state during the pre-Qin period. There were more than 50 tombs in the Great Qin Imperial Mausoleum. The tombs were all protected by formations, and divine thought could not penetrate them, but under Lu Changsheng's divine thought, comparable to a nine-tribulation martial god, nothing could hide, and the situation inside was clearly visible. Most of the tombs indeed contained valuable burial items, but they did not catch Lu Changsheng's eye. After scanning once with his divine thought, he did not find any trace of the first emperor's secret treasure, nor even any abnormal places. However, this was normal. If the first emperor's secret treasure were that easy to obtain, the Great Qin dynasty would have discovered it long ago. How could it be left for future generations? Even in the simulator, it took him a full half-year to find the first emperor's secret treasure. However, at that time, he had not yet opened his divine apertures. It should be much easier now. Let's first find the location of the first emperor's secret treasure in the simulator. Lu Changsheng opened the simulator, and a prompt quickly popped up. Simulating once consumes 32 gold. Current balance is 0. Would you like to recharge immediately? Recharge. Lu Changsheng directly took out 32 soul crystals. Recharge successful. 32 gold consumed. Simulation begins. 17 years old, you arrive at Shenyang Palace, overthrow the Great Qin dynasty, and the world is shocked. 5 days later, you discover the whereabouts of the Imperial Jade Seal in the Imperial Mausoleum. After violently entering it, you slap Emperor Gaoshan Qinyi, who is refining the Imperial Jade Seal, to death and obtain the first emperor's secret treasure. 7 days later, Shu Fu appears in Shenyang Palace and persuades you to eat the immortal pill he refined. You slap him to death. 1 month later, Jai Xingzi leads more than 10 martial gods to form the Big Dipper life-sapping array and attacks you. The Big Dipper life-sapping array is an ancient formation. Staying in the array can cut off 60 years of a person's lifespan in an instant, but your formation attainments in this world are already at their peak. You directly reverse the Big Dipper life-sapping array, causing Jai Xingzi and others to die of old age, and then their divine souls were easily captured by you. 18 years old, you refine all the soul crystals and martial god divine souls in your hand, opening another 5,000 divine apertures. Your strength increases by more than double. 19 years old, you cleanse the world with blood. The human race and barbarian race suffer at your hands. More than 20 martial gods die by your hand. In addition to their divine souls, you also collect nearly 100 soul crystals and conveniently gather 9-star Luo sect secret decrees. Afterward, you also use an internal spy to steal over 200 soul crystals from the Yuming sect's lair. Jizo is furious but can do nothing to you. 20 years old, you refine over 300 soul crystals and the divine souls of over 20 martial gods, opening another 1,000 divine apertures. Your total number of divine apertures breaks 10,000, reaching 10,800. Then, you use the 9-star Luo sect secret decrees to enter the Star Luo secret realm. The secret realm spirit is shocked by your strength and says that you only need to complete the last trial to obtain the entire Star Luo sect legacy. You outwardly agree completely, and after getting close to the secret realm spirit, you directly launch a sneak attack. 162. 3,000 Dao realms and the realm of supernatural powers. Fight every day. Under your preemptive attack, the secret realm spirit was severely wounded and defeated, but at the moment of its death, it self-destructed all the formations within the secret realm. Relying on your superb strength and formation mastery, you ultimately managed to preserve over 8,000 soul crystals, but all other treasures were destroyed or scattered into the void realm Luanlu. You returned to Shenyang Palace in the Great Qin Imperial City and began to refine these 8,000 plus soul crystals. At 24 years old, you successfully refined these 8,000 plus soul crystals, opening up another 20,000 divine apertures. Your strength increased by more than double, and you felt that your strength was no weaker than a divine lord of the divine court. At this time, the humanity's undying scripture you cultivated also naturally broke through to the perfection realm, granting your divine soul a trace of undying characteristic. Half a year later, you refined the imperial jade seal, and then came to the small thunderclap temple ruins. Using the great brightness fist imprint, which originated from the same source, you broke the demon Buddha's seal. You performed soul scour on the demon Buddha, intending to ascertain his origin, but discovered that, like Shu Fu, he surprisingly had no divine soul. The demon Buddha advised you not to waste your effort. He was merely a consciousness projection, his true body residing in a higher level great world. As long as his true body was not destroyed, this consciousness projection would never perish. Even Shakyamuni's faith golden body could only suppress him, not kill him. A higher level great world. Lu Chengsheng's mind trembled. He had only heard rumors of ascension on Tianyuan continent and did not understand higher level great worlds. He hadn't expected the demon Buddha's true form to actually come from a higher level great world. You asked the demon Buddha which great world he came from. The demon Buddha told you that the great world you were in was called the Little Yuan Realm, one of countless middle thousand worlds. He came from one of the only 3,000 major thousand worlds, the profound yellow great world. Because the rules of each major thousand world differed and formed its own Dao domain, it could also be called the Xuanwang Dao domain. You brought the demon Buddha back to Shenyang Palace, pointed at Shu Fu, who was currently performing alchemy, and asked him, this person is also unkillable. Could he also be a consciousness projection of some powerful being from a Dao domain? The demon Buddha scoffed, saying, this person is merely a flesh and blood puppet formed by divine ability. The one behind him is tens of thousands of miles inferior to my true form. You asked what divine ability was. The demon Buddha said, to accomplish the impossible is called divine ability. The next realm after the soul calamity realm is the divine power realm. The demon Buddha enticingly said, as long as you give him 1 billion human race blood sacrifices, he will tell you how to break through to the divine power realm. You pondered for a moment and asked if Yao race blood sacrifices would suffice. The demon Buddha disdained that too few Yao race beings had awakened their spiritual intellect, he didn't like eating fools. So, you resealed the demon Buddha and went to the latrine, threatening him that if he didn't agree, you would immerse him in the latrine pit day and night. The demon Buddha, exasperated, had no choice but to agree. Afterward, you brought the demon Buddha to the western wasteland and let him devour 1 billion Yao race creatures. The demon Buddha then told you that to break through to the divine power realm, you only needed to open any one of the 3 great hidden treasures, the origin chi hidden treasure, the physical body hidden treasure, and the divine soul hidden treasure. If you let him devour another 1 billion blood sacrifices, he would tell you how to open these 3 great hidden treasures. Since the Yao race were merely foreign races in your eyes, you didn't feel distressed and readily agreed. After the demon Buddha finished devouring another 1 billion Yao race creatures, he told you that when your magic power was as vast as the sea and inexhaustible, you would be able to open the origin chi hidden treasure. When your physical body was indestructible and comparable to a peerless grade Dao weapon, you would be able to open the physical body hidden treasure, and when your divine soul opened 129,600 divine apertures and condensed a perfect divine infant, you would be able to open the divine soul hidden treasure. Next, the demon Buddha said that if you let him devour another 1 billion blood sacrifices, he would tell you how to use the 3 great hidden treasures to cultivate divine abilities and enter the divine power realm. Good heavens, is this a pinduoduo bargaining tactic? Lu Chengsheng couldn't help but complain upon seeing this familiar routine. This demon Buddha deliberately split the process of breaking through to the divine power realm into several stages, demanding a benefit at each stage. However, if you really compared them, this demon Buddha was much more conscientious than Pinduoduo. At least when you bargained with him, he really gave you what you wanted. Unlike Pinduoduo, where you could bargain tens of thousands of times and still always be just short. However, Lu Chengsheng felt that this demon Buddha was a bit too obedient, vastly different from his chaotic self in previous simulations. You agreed to the demon Buddha's request. However, after this latest consumption, the demon Buddha did not immediately deliver what you wanted. Instead, he directly attacked you, seemingly wanting to devour even you after his strength greatly increased. You expended some effort to defeat the demon Buddha, but found it difficult to reseal him after his strength had greatly increased. After his defeat, he escaped, severely wounded, and disappeared without a trace. Not long after, the demon Buddha reappeared in the northern plains. After devouring most of the barbarian race, a divine being descended from the 9 heavens, defeated him, and the demon Buddha escaped again, his whereabouts unknown. After the demon Buddha disappeared, the 9 heavens divine being came to Shenyang Palace and said that everything was because of you. If you hadn't released the demon Buddha, the barbarian race would not have suffered such a catastrophe. After speaking, he launched a deadly attack on you. However, your strength far exceeded the 9 heavens divine being's imagination. A single move, Celestial Buddha asks, severely wounded him and forced him to flee. Afterward, to prevent being ambushed, you hid in the Bodhi cave heaven. The red-haired monster was awakened by your powerful aura and attacked you, but was instantly annihilated by a casual strike from you, unable to even utter a curse. However, not long after, 5 divine beings descended to the lower realm. Guided by the God Emperor, they broke into the Bodhi cave heaven, claiming you were a cosmic anomaly, and surrounded you. Ultimately, you used the 5th form of the Great Brightness Fist imprint. Myriad Buddhas worship the ancestor, resulting in 2 divine beings dead and 3 wounded, while you yourself died from the backlash of the Great Brightness Fist imprint. Finally, I can directly defeat a divine lord of the divine court. Lu Chengsheng had a hint of excitement on his face. Several previous simulations had ended with him dying at the hands of a divine lord. Now, he could finally utterly crush a single divine lord. However, most of this was thanks to the Great Brightness Fist imprint. Without this peerless great art, it would still be very difficult for him to defeat a divine lord with his current strength. But this demon Buddha is truly a treasure trove. In this simulation, I gained a lot of hidden information from him, which clarified my future Tao. Lu Chengsheng sighed with emotion. This demon Buddha was a consciousness projection of a great figure from the Xuanwang Dao domain, and the information he revealed was definitely just the tip of the iceberg. Moreover, this fellow was cunning and treacherous, not easy to get along with. One careless mistake and he could trap and kill you. For now, he wouldn't be released. Contact with him would only happen within the simulator. Simulation ended. You can retain one of the following items. 1. The cultivation realm at 24 years old. 2. The cultivation experience at 24 years old. Choose one. As Lu Chengsheng made his choice, an additional 15,000 plus light points suddenly appeared in the divine infant within his sea of consciousness. Combined with the previous light points, the total was exactly 20,800. Within each light point, something seemed to be gestating. At this moment, no unusual phenomena were apparent, only Lu Chengsheng himself had a vague premonition. He felt that once fully matured, it would bring about earth-shattering changes. Divine Soul Hidden Treasure. Lu Chengsheng had a faint guess. Besides the change in the number of divine apertures, the divine infant itself also underwent significant changes. Originally purple, it now had a touch of gold, turning into a purplish gold color, appearing even more noble than before, with an aura of indestructibility flowing within it. This was the change brought about by the humanity's undying scripture's perfection, significantly enhancing the essence of Lu Chengsheng's divine soul. A divine infant of 9 feet 9 inches was the limit of divine soul power that the soul calamity realm could accommodate. After that, divine soul power would be difficult to increase further. However, the essence of the divine soul could continuously improve with the opening of divine apertures. When the number of divine apertures reached 129,600, the essence of the divine soul would also undergo a certain transformation. The sages of the Little Yuan realm called it the perfect divine infant, but it was unclear if it was the divine soul hidden treasure mentioned by the demon Buddha. 163. The flesh comparable to the top-grade Tao soldiers. Emperor Xuanchang and the strong man from the sky. With his divine soul essence elevated several times over, Lu Chengsheng's divine thought perception also surged by several times. A sweep of his divine thought immediately revealed a spatial node within the imperial mausoleum, which he had previously found no anomaly in, that was out of sync with its surroundings. The location of this spatial node was flickering and constantly shifting. This should be due to the imperial jade seal continuously moving in deeper space. With Lu Chengsheng's current divine thought and his profound integration with heaven and earth, he should be able to pinpoint the exact location of the imperial jade seal in just 2 or 3 hours. Compared to the 5 days in the simulation, this was already a significant improvement. But Lu Chengsheng still felt it was too long. By then, his perfect Tao embryo would have already been refined. Recharge. Continue the simulation. Open black lens bracket. Recharge successful. Consume 32 money. Simulation begins. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket at 17, you arrived at the Great Qin Imperial Mausoleum in Shenyang City, spent 2.5 hours, successfully located the Imperial Jade Seal hidden in deeper space, and entered it. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. After slapping the astonished Emperor Gaoshan Qinyi to death, you began refining the Imperial Jade Seal in Shenyang Palace. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. 7 days later, Shu Fu appeared, persuading you to eat an immortal pill, but you slapped him to death. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. 1 month later, you successfully refined the Imperial Jade Seal, and at this time, Jai Xingzi and others formed the Big Dipper life-sapping Great Formation and attacked you. You unleashed the Imperial Jade Seal, and with just one strike, you suppressed and killed everyone. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Half a year later, you refined all the soul crystals and divine souls in your hand, increasing the number of divine apertures by another 5,000. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At 18, you purged the world, collected all 9 Xingluo sect secret decrees, opened the Star Luo secret realm, and entered it. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. To prevent the secret realm spirit from detonating the secret realm formation, as soon as you saw the secret realm spirit, you unleashed a celestial Buddha asks and blasted it into dust. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The secret realm was full of formations. Without the guidance of the secret realm spirit, you could only find the location of the secret realm's treasury by breaking through the formations yourself. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At 19, you successfully found the location of the secret realm treasury. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At 20, you successfully broke through the formation outside the treasury and entered it. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Inside the treasury, the most abundant items were 20,000 soul crystals. Besides these, there were only 2 secret manuals named Star Aspect Heavenly Luo Scripture and Heavenly Jade Book, as well as a bottle of Nirvana pills, and a peerless grade defensive Dao weapon named the 7-Star Robe. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Star Aspect Heavenly Luo Scripture is the Star Luo sect's cultivation method, which can allow one to cultivate up to the divine power realm. It also details the specific methods for opening the 3 great hidden treasures, origin chi, physical body, and divine thought, as well as how to use the hidden treasures to cultivate divine abilities. Close black lens bracket. I didn't expect the Star Luo secret realm to have a method for breakthrough to divine ability. Very good, very good. With this Star Aspect Heavenly Luo Scripture, he finally didn't have to seek breakthrough methods from the demon Buddha. After all, that guy came from the demonic path and had many insidious tricks. If he wasn't careful, he would be tricked. Even if the demon Buddha gave Lu Changsheng the breakthrough method, he might not dare to use it. In comparison, the Star Luo sect legacy was much more reliable. Open black lens bracket. And the Heavenly Jade Book recorded 10 divine abilities, namely Baiyun Smoke, Meisha Wave, Earth Kunlun, Azure Snow Ice, Purple Star River, Dark Chaos, Indigo Ocean, Golden Dawn, Blood Firmament, and Zon Universe. The first 9 are all great divine powers, while the last one, Zon Universe, is a limitless divine power. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Only by thoroughly comprehending the first 9 great divine powers and fusing them into one can one deduce the limitless divine power, Zon Universe. Close black lens bracket. Great divine power, limitless divine power, is this the rank of divine abilities? Lu Changsheng stroked his chin, a thoughtful expression on his face. He already had great divine power and limitless divine power. Was there perhaps a little divine power below them? And the name of the limitless divine power, Zon Universe, did it really mean he had to refine a universe? This Star Luo sect really dared to leave behind anything. Open black lens bracket. As for the Nirvana pill, it is a medicinal pill that transforms the physical body. One Nirvana pill can make one's physical body comparable to a low-grade Dao weapon, and there are 10 pills in total in one bottle. If all are consumed, one's physical body can be comparable to a medium-grade Dao weapon. Close black lens bracket. Not bad, this Nirvana pill is also a good thing. Combined with the soul art, undying dragon body, the physical body hidden treasure is just around the corner. Lu Changsheng nodded in satisfaction. Open black lens bracket. After obtaining all the treasures from the treasury, you closed the secret realm teleportation gate and directly went into secluded cultivation in the secret realm. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket at 25, you refined 20,000 soul crystals, opening a little over 50,000 divine apertures, reaching a total of 70,000. Your strength once again increased exponentially. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Afterward, you began to consume the nirvana pills. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. When you consumed the first nirvana pill, you felt the pain of being cut into 1,000 pieces, but you did not block the pain. Instead, you used the opportunity to temper your will. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Because the last 3 lightning tribulations, each one was accompanied by a heart demon tribulation. If one's will was not firm, it was very possible to die in the heart demon tribulation. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. After refining the first nirvana pill, you took the second. As your physical body grew stronger, the pain you suffered became weaker. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At 30, you successfully refined 10 nirvana pills, and your physical body strength was comparable to a medium-grade Dao weapon. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Then, you began to use the innate soul art obtained from the demon flood dragon king, the undying dragon body, to temper your physical body. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At 40, the first tempering was completed, and your physical body strength increased significantly again. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At 41, all your consumed soul power recovered, and you continued to temper your physical body. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At 51, the second tempering was completed. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At 62, the third tempering was completed. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At 95, the sixth tempering was completed. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At 106, the seventh tempering was completed. Your physical body broke through its limits, reaching a brand new level, comparable to a high-grade Dao weapon. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At 117, a century later, the seventh lightning tribulation descended. You directly tore apart the lightning tribulation with your physical body. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The heart demon tribulation that came with the lightning tribulation only caused your spirit to be slightly dazed before returning to normal. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. After passing through 7 lightning tribulations, your divine apertures increased by another 5,000, and your strength improved to a certain extent. As you were about to continue your secluded cultivation, an old voice suddenly came from outside the secret realm. So there's a grotto heaven hidden here. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. As soon as the voice fell, a massive tree branch, like a divine mountain, fiercely pierced into the star Luo's secret realm. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The vast star Luo's secret realm, comparable to a grotto heaven, rapidly collapsed and shattered before your eyes. The secret realm's world origin power was quickly absorbed by the tree branch, and you were forced to shatter the void realm and return to the Tian Yuan continent. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. On the Tian Yuan continent, you only saw desolation, devastation, and various terrifying natural disasters everywhere, no longer suitable for living beings. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You searched for a long time before finding a human race settlement in a valley. Under your discreet soul search, you learned that 90 years ago, a strong man from beyond the heavens descended and battled the profound sky god emperor of the divine court, after which the Tian Yuan continent became as it is now. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. To this day, the battle has not ended, and the two are still in a standoff in the outer heavens. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Even to add a trace of power to the profound sky god emperor, all settlements of intelligent beings on the Tian Yuan continent have statues of the profound sky god emperor, worshipped day and night. Close black lens bracket. Strong man from beyond the heavens. Is he perhaps related to Shu Fu? The simulation said he appeared 90 years ago, and previous simulations had never shown such a major change. The only major variable was the appearance of Shu Fu. The demon Buddha had also said that Shu Fu was a flesh puppet formed by the divine ability of others, so it was hard for Lu Chengsheng not to connect the two. 164. Continuously pass the thunder tribulation, perfect divine fetus. The terrifying experience after ascending. When you finished understanding the changes of the past century and were about to leave, a divine being who called himself Heavenly Dipper Divine Lord sensed your aura and found you. Heavenly Dipper Divine Lord told you that profound Sky God Emperor was currently in a great battle with the strong man from beyond the heavens, and both sides were evenly matched. He said that with just a little help from you, the God Emperor would be able to defeat the strong man from beyond the heavens. You retorted, don't your divine court have 11 divine lords? Do you still need me to make a move? Heavenly Dipper Divine Lord said that among the divine lords, Thunder Hidden, Yellow Springs, Shilling, Tianwo, Daigong, Yuz, and Jingong had all died in battle, and Tianming was nowhere to be found. Now, only he, Earth Fiend, and Lingmu remained, and all three were severely wounded, their strength not even comparable to a 7 tribulation martial god. Going there would only be suicide. He had sensed through the power of the great world that you had already opened more than 70,000 divine apertures, and your physical body was comparable to a high-grade Dao weapon. Your strength was not beneath that of a divine lord. Now that the great battle had reached a critical stage, although the God Emperor had a high chance of winning, if the strong man from beyond the heavens managed to turn the tables, the great world would head towards destruction, and no one would survive. Since it concerned yourself, you finally agreed to help. Then, following Heavenly Dipper Divine Lord's guidance, you arrived at the battlefield in the outer heavens. As soon as you exited the outer heavens, you saw a towering divine tree in the distance, suppressing an emperor-robed man beneath its roots. Beneath the tree's canopy sat an old man who looked like a dried corpse. This is called evenly matched. This is called a high chance of winning. Your face darkened, and you turned and ran, leaving behind a bewildered Heavenly Dipper Divine Lord. You fled back to the Tianyuan continent, and Heavenly Dipper Divine Lord quickly found you again. He told you that a few days ago, the two of them were still evenly matched, and he didn't know what changes had occurred recently that led to the God Emperor being suppressed. Heavenly Dipper Divine Lord said that the God Emperor was now the last hope of this great world, and he pleaded with you to rescue the God Emperor, or he would keep nagging you. You showed a hint of a mysterious expression and said, this matter is extremely important, and we need to discuss the details with the other divine lords. Upon hearing this, Heavenly Dipper immediately brought Earth Fiend and Lingmu, the two divine lords. Then, you suddenly attacked, capturing all 3 divine lords alive, while muttering, if I can't kill the strong man from beyond the heavens, can't I kill you? At 119 years old, you refined the divine souls of the 3 divine lords and opened more than 6,000 divine apertures again. Your total number of divine apertures reached 80,000. After that, you began to ponder your next path. This great world was on the verge of destruction. Whether it was rescuing the God Emperor or defecting to the strong man from beyond the heavens, both were gambling with your own life. Especially the second path, that strong man from beyond the heavens regarded the people of this great world as ants. Even if many forces expressed their intention to defect, he never paid them any attention. Currently, the safest method was to undergo tribulation through the 9 layers of lightning tribulation and ascend to other great worlds. After making your decision, you wanted to go to Bodhi Cave Heaven to undergo tribulation, but found that Bodhi Cave Heaven had already been destroyed. Not only Bodhi Cave Heaven, but you also found that Sky Demon Cave Heaven and Great Evolution Cave Heaven were all destroyed. The only one that remained was Mysterious Maiden Cave Heaven. However, Mysterious Maiden Cave Heaven was full of spatial cracks, and devilish chi continuously surged out from the spatial cracks, already turning the place into a demonic land. You ultimately had no choice but to return to the Tianyuan continent to undergo tribulation. 2 hours later, you successively underwent the 8th and 9th layers of lightning tribulation, and after the lightning tribulation, you opened another 9,000 divine apertures. During the tribulation, the heart demon tribulation caused you quite a bit of trouble, but you ultimately passed it without much danger, and your spiritual will increased significantly. After undergoing tribulation, you felt that 9,000 divine apertures were too few, so you directly found the origin of the lightning tribulation, the ancient thunder pool. Your divine infant and physical body entered it together. At 124 years old, after 5 years of arduous cultivation in the ancient thunder pool, you opened nearly 40,000 divine apertures. Your total number of divine apertures reached the limit of 129,600, and you successfully condensed a perfect divine infant. Moreover, during these 5 years, your physical body also made great progress, comparable to 2 refinements of the undying dragon body, moving closer to the peerless grade Tao weapon level. After condensing the perfect divine infant, you felt a terrifying entity brewing within it, which would likely take 20 to 30 years to fully form. You speculated that this should be the soul thought divine treasure, one of the 3 great divine treasures. You went to the outer heavens for another look and found that profound sky god emperor was almost sucked dry by the divine tree, and would soon completely lose his ability to resist. You dared not stay long in the little Yuan realm, and directly shattered the void realm, following the world's pulling force, and ascended to a more vast realm. When you awoke from the dizziness of ascension, you had arrived at a white jade platform filled with immortal qi. You learned from other ascenders around you that this was the ascension platform of the Lingshu Great World, and soon, an emissary would come to guide every ascender. You looked around and saw that the white jade platform led to 5 majestic palaces. Before long, an emissary arrived and told you that these 5 palaces were where the 5 major forces of the upper realm recruited disciples, and you could choose anyone to join. You chose the palace that looked the most imposing. The emissary led you there, but just as you reached the palace gate, someone ran out, dragging half of their bloody body covered in teeth marks, shouting frantically, "Ascension is a scam. Don't go in." Your face changed drastically, and you immediately broke through the void realm and fled. Just then, the emissary's bones crackled, and his entire body twisted strangely. Dense, countless eyeballs emerged from beneath his skin, all looking in the direction you fled, shooting out streaks of pitch-black death light. You were hit by hundreds of death lights, your vision went black, and you lost consciousness. When you were awakened again by intense pain, you found yourself in a giant oil pot, and you heard a voice muttering, "This vegetable person's meat is too tough, it's not cooking even after so long." An hour later, you were fried to death. You died. What kind of hellish place did I ascend to? Lu Changsheng was speechless. He had wanted to see what the world after ascension was like, but he didn't expect to become food directly. If he had known this, he would have rather fought to the death with that strong man from beyond the heavens. But what kind of place was this world after ascension? In the Middle Ages, ancient times, and even primordial times, so many powerful beings ascended to the upper realm, it's impossible that they all became food for others, right? Lu Changsheng felt that this possibility was very small. Regarding the world after ascension, perhaps more information could be obtained from the divine court, the strong man from beyond the heavens, and the demon Buddha. The divine court and the strong man from beyond the heavens were not to be relied on for now, but the demon Buddha could still be bullied a bit, he would ask him in the next simulation. It's also possible that the world after ascension is random, and this time was just bad luck. Simulation ended, you can keep one of the following. 1. The cultivation realm at 124 years old. 2. The cultivation experience at 124 years old. 165. Don't worry, it's absolutely safe. Resurrect Shu Fu. Lu Changsheng did not make a choice immediately. Undergoing tribulation on Tian Yuan continent easily attracts Divine Lord Thunder Hidden. He was not afraid of Divine Lord Thunder Hidden, but the profound Sky God Emperor behind him was exceptionally terrifying. In the simulator, the two did not directly engage in battle. However, the profound Sky God Emperor could confront a strong man from beyond the heavens for 90 years before being defeated, and the strong man from beyond the heavens had the ability to destroy the Little Yuan realm, a middle thousand worlds, forcing his simulated self to ascend to the upper realm. Based on this alone, the profound Sky God Emperor was not someone Lu Changsheng could contend with at present. As Lu Changsheng pondered whether to go to Sky Demon Cave Heaven or Bodhi Cave Heaven for his undergoing tribulation, the communication stone he carried suddenly emitted a surge of spiritual fluctuation. Oh, Jai Xingzi has returned to Tianji Pavilion with a large group of martial gods and entered Great Evolution Cave Heaven, seemingly plotting something. Lu Changsheng was a little surprised by Jai Xingzi's swift action. Indeed, this was a message sent by the 3 divine soul puppets he had placed in Tianji Pavilion. Originally, Lu Changsheng had intended to go to Bodhi Cave Heaven. Because it was closer to Bodhi Cave Heaven, and he could conveniently eliminate the threat of the red-haired monster. But since Jai Xingzi had returned to the sect, he would make a trip to Tianji Pavilion. Shu Fu's appearance was also related to Jai Xingzi, so going earlier now would also allow him to nip this unstable factor in the bud. Besides, Lu Changsheng was very curious why Jai Xingzi would suddenly return to Tianji Pavilion. It should be known that in the 2 previous simulations, Jai Xingzi had always attacked a month later. This proved that he did not return to Tianji Pavilion in the following month. Otherwise, his simulated self, upon receiving the news, would certainly not have tolerated Jai Xingzi living for another month. During this month, he himself had also stayed in Shenyang. Logically, it shouldn't have caused any butterfly effect. So, where exactly did the variable come from? Deep space of the Imperial Tomb, the small world inside the Imperial Jade Seal. Emperor Gaoshan Qinyi breathed a sigh of relief when he saw Lu Changsheng leave. Just now, Lu Changsheng's gaze had swept towards this place, and he had thought the location of the Imperial Jade Seal was exposed, startling him into a cold sweat. Now it seemed that even a nine-tribulation martial god like Lu Changsheng, who had opened his divine aperture, could not discover the true location of the Imperial Jade Seal, a supreme Dao weapon. I still need to refine the Imperial Jade Seal as soon as possible. Qin Yi's face showed a look of lingering fear. Only after refining it could Qin Yi truly wield it. Beneath the Imperial Tomb was the convergence point of the great Qin dynasty's dragon veins, which is why the first emperor left the true Imperial Jade Seal here. Firstly, it could use the dragon qi to nourish the Imperial Jade Seal, increasing its power over time. Secondly, the first emperor hoped to find a filial descendant of the Qin family to inherit his legacy. Qin Yi also felt that this place was peaceful, and after 100 years of cultivation here, the Imperial Jade Seal actively responded to him. He only learned this information after entering the Imperial Jade Seal's interior. During Qin Yi's reign, he ceded much land to the demon and barbarian clans and signed the True Martial Covenant, which broke the human race's backbone, making him arguably the most prodigal of all Qin emperors, completely unrelated to filial piety. It was ironic that he ended up obtaining the Imperial Jade Seal. Of course, he himself certainly wouldn't think so. On the contrary, he believed that his acquisition of the Imperial Jade Seal was a sign of heavenly mandate. However, it was extremely difficult for a peerless grade Dao weapon to recognize a master. He had been refining the Imperial Jade Seal for over 100 years, and it was still just a little short of being completely controlled. As long as he was given another decade or so, once he thoroughly refined the Imperial Jade Seal and obtained the first emperor's secret treasure within it, he was confident he could reach the first emperor's height. By then, what was a mere Lu Changsheng worth mentioning? He could not only easily avenge the hundreds of thousands of deceased clansmen but also use his bloodline to restore the Qin clan's glory. Of course, the prerequisite was to give him some time. Lu Changsheng came to Tianji Pavilion for the second time, walking in like a ghost. Soon, he entered Great Evolution Cave Heaven. Inside Tianji Divine Hall in Great Evolution Cave Heaven, over a dozen martial gods from various major forces gathered together. In the center of the Divine Hall, there was a black wooden coffin covered with formation patterns. Most of these formation patterns were for delaying the aging of the physical body. Didn't we agree to hold the resurrection ceremony in my Kong clan's Sage of Literature Cave Heaven? Why did it suddenly have to be moved to Great Evolution Cave Heaven? Could it be that you, old Taoist Jai Xingzi, suspect I would tip off that Lu Changsheng? Old ancestor Kong Josie of the Kong clan looked displeased and said coldly. The other martial gods also looked at Jai Xingzi with confusion, hoping he could provide an explanation. Jai Xingzi said dejectedly, "It's strange to say, before setting off, I used the Great Evolution Divine Calculation to cast 2 divinations for the Sage of Literature Cave Heaven. The first divination showed great auspiciousness, but the second showed great misfortune. After that, I cast several more divinations, all showing great misfortune, so I had no choice but to change the location." Kong Josie snorted, "My Sage of Literature Cave Heaven isn't safe, so is your Great Evolution Cave Heaven safe then?" "Don't worry about that, it's absolutely safe. Not only is it safe, but it also shows a great auspicious omen." Jai Xingzi stroked his beard and smiled. In reality, he didn't know if it was safe or not. Because this Great Evolution Cave Heaven was opened by a powerful being from the Great Evolution sect in ancient times, it inherently possessed the characteristic of disturbing the heavenly secrets since its birth. The omens related to it were generally chaotic. Of course, Jai Xingzi, an old fox, would certainly not reveal such sect secrets. Seeing Jai Xingzi say this, everyone felt relieved. After all, Tianji Pavilion was renowned throughout the world for its deduction techniques. Since he said it was greatly auspicious, it seemed this time the resurrection of Shu Fu should be a sure thing. Subsequently, Lu Sheng, the sect master of Fang Xian sect, performed a secret technique to remove the sealing formation and opened the coffin lid. Inside the black wooden coffin, lay the emaciated, skin and bones corpse of an old man. A martial god's physical body could remain incorruptible for 1,000 years, and with various life-extending formations delaying the dissipation of vitality, Shu Fu's physical body was preserved for 2 millennia. However, his vitality was almost completely depleted, so low it was barely perceptible. Let's begin. Lu Sheng took out a soul lamp and said to everyone. Everyone nodded and formed a peculiar formation. This was precisely the soul-summoning grand formation left by Shu Fu. 2,000 years ago, the first emperor had annihilated Shu Fu's divine soul. But unbeknownst to him, Shu Fu had long been prepared, having left a sub-soul elsewhere in advance. After his main soul was killed, the sub-soul went into hiding, but during its concealment, it unexpectedly entered an unknown place and became trapped there. This soul-summoning grand formation essentially used the soul lamp left by Shu Fu to guide Shu Fu's trapped sub-soul back. However, this process consumed an enormous amount of energy, and Fang Xian sect had attempted it over a dozen times in 2 millennia, all ending in failure. According to the estimation of Lu Sheng's master, Taoist Danyang, 500 years ago, at least 10 or more martial gods, or 1/9 tribulation martial god, were needed to have a chance of guiding Shu Fu's sub-soul back. Lu Chengsheng's appearance brought immense pressure to the martial gods of the world, which made it possible for a group of martial gods to unite. For Fang Xian sect, Lu Chengsheng had ironically become their lucky star. The soul-summoning grand formation lasted for over a dozen breaths, consuming most of the divine soul power of the assembled martial gods, before producing a reddish-yellow talisman. Lu Sheng infused the reddish-yellow talisman into the soul lamp, and the eerie green flame on the soul lamp flickered, seemingly resonating with a certain place. 166. The top-grade Dao Soldier Jingguang Sword, all the trump cards are out. Outer heavens. In the boundless void realm, there stood a divine tree that reached the heavens. The enormous divine tree bore only one unripe, fist-sized fruit. Beneath the tree's canopy, a thin, withered old man in hemp robes sat cross-legged. Suddenly, the old man opened his eyes, and 2 divine lights shot out from them, tearing the void. Just now, he had suddenly sensed an invisible force calling out to him. The contingency plan I laid out has finally been triggered by someone. A smile tugged at the corners of the withered old man's mouth. His gaze swept into the distance, where a vast expanse of dark devilish chi almost consumed half of the outer heavens. Since the failed descent, 2,000 years ago, he had not found an opportunity to enter the Little Yuan realm. World consciousness instinctively repelled outsiders like him. Meanwhile, the demon race's power had grown stronger by the day, threatening to swallow the entire world. The withered old man had even considered giving up on descending into this world, but then a new opportunity arose. Following this invisible force, he then transmitted his power. Great Evolution Cave Heaven, Tianji Divine Hall. Shu Fu's corpse's fingers twitched, and his tightly closed eyes slowly began to open. Shu Fu's throat moved, but most of his body's organs were already necrotic, making it impossible for him to make a sound. Old ancestor has revived. Lu Sheng was overjoyed at the sight. The Fang Xian sect's 2,000-year-old wish had finally been fulfilled in his generation. As for why Shu Fu didn't communicate with them using divine thought, Lu Sheng and the others didn't think much of it. Firstly, this was only a partial soul, and secondly, after being trapped for 2,000 years, no one knew what he had experienced, so it was normal for his divine soul to be a bit weak. Everyone had already made the necessary preparations. Brother Shu, it's your turn. Lu Sheng urged. Shu Zongwu reluctantly took out a fiery red jade bottle, pulled out the stopper, and a strange fragrance immediately wafted out. This was phoenix blood, containing a small amount of phoenix origin. Phoenixes were known for their powerful vitality, and this drop of phoenix blood could bring the dead back to life and regrow flesh on bones with ease. One could even say it was overkill. Although other forces had promised to compensate him equally afterward, he was still very reluctant to part with it. Just as Shu Zongwu was about to drip the phoenix blood, he was horrified to discover that the fiery red jade bottle in his hand had vanished. No, where did such a large jade bottle go? Sect Master Shu, could it be that you intend to go back on your word? Lu Sheng, Jai Xingzi, and the others, thinking that Shu Zongwu had hidden the phoenix blood, all darkened their expressions. Shu Fu's strength was self-evident, an 8th tribulation martial god. If he recovered to his peak and wielded a peerless grade Dao weapon, he would pose a certain threat even to a 9th tribulation martial god. However, what everyone valued most was not his strength, but his alchemy skills, which were unparalleled in his era. Rumor had it that the first emperor's sudden death a few years after Shu Fu's demise was related to his consumption of an immortal pill, refined by Shu Fu. If that immortal pill was taken continuously, it was a divine pill and miraculous medicine that rapidly increased soul power. However, if one stopped taking it for a period, the remaining medicinal power would turn into a deadly poison, capable of annihilating the divine soul even of someone like the first emperor, who had opened tens of thousands of divine apertures and was almost invincible in the soul calamity realm. Although it was just a rumor, the Fang Xian sect insisted it was true after the first emperor's death, which was why everyone spared no effort to revive Xu Fu. If Xu Zongwu dared to go back on his word at this critical juncture, they wouldn't hesitate to turn hostile. Xu Zongwu was at a loss for words. It was clearly there just now, so why did the phoenix blood disappear in the blink of an eye? Just as he was so anxious that he almost handed over his storage ring to prove his innocence, a voice suddenly rang out. Such a good thing, wouldn't it be a waste to use it on a dead person? In the dim Tianji Divine Hall, a figure suddenly appeared, but who was this Lu Changsheng? Lu Changsheng, how are you here? Jai Xingzi was greatly alarmed. Before entering the Great Evolution Cave Heaven to revive Xu Fu, he had specifically instructed the Tianji Pavilion's higher-ups to notify him immediately if there was any disturbance, so how could Lu Changsheng have snuck in so silently? Could it be that the sect's grand formation was just for show? Of course, I walked in openly. You fools, I stood right in front of you, and you didn't even know it, yet you still tried to revive a dead person to deal with me. Isn't that laughable? Lu Changsheng put away the phoenix blood, his gaze sweeping around with a mocking expression. Kill. Everyone exchanged glances, and with a tacit understanding, they attacked together, charging towards Lu Changsheng. Although Lu Changsheng was a 9-tribulation martial god, there were more than a dozen martial gods from various major forces present. As the saying goes, many ants can kill an elephant. Not to mention that those present were all old ancestors from various forces, who had lived for hundreds, even nearly 1,000 years, and possessed an unknown number of trump cards. Xu Zongwu took out a high-grade Dao weapon, the black tortoise shield, and placed it at the very front, with a rich black light flowing with an aura of indestructibility protecting everyone behind him. Shang Chu took out 365 large flags, placing them around the Tianji Divine Hall, the formation flags piercing through the void realm and rapidly rotating, instantly enveloping an area of 100 li. This was the mountain and sea trapping dragon formation, capable of trapping and killing a 9-tribulation martial god, and it was the Shang clan of Nan Commandery's clan protecting treasure. It was precisely because of the existence of this formation that the great Qin dynasty, despite knowing of the Shang clan's rebellious intentions, could do nothing about it. Zhao Fengdalei, the sect master of the Divine Firmament sect, took out a terrifying lightning talisman. This was a heavenly thunder sealed by the Divine Firmament sect's founder, Divine Firmament Child, 3,000 years ago when he was undergoing the 9th Thunder Tribulation. At that time, a total of 9 heavenly thunders were sealed, and now only this last one remained. Among the martial gods, the most astonishing was not the few mentioned above, but Wang Jianyi, the sect master of the Astounding Sword sect. He took out a radiant, heaven-shaking crimson-yellow divine sword, from which sword chi roared. It was precisely the Astounding Sword sect's peerless grade Dao weapon, the Astounding Sword. The Astounding Sword sect's legacy had endured for over 6,000 years without decline, and more than half of the credit belonged to this sword. Watching his many old friends bring out their ultimate trump cards, Jai Xingzi's heart surged with excitement, as if he saw the dawn of killing Lu Changsheng. Lu Changsheng, oh Lu Changsheng, if you had stayed in Shenyang City, everyone might not have fought you to the death, but you came to the Great Evolution Cave Heaven, trying to push all the martial gods to a dead end, unaware that you are courting your own demise. Jai Xingzi sneered triumphantly in his heart. Why did all these forces want to revive Xu Fu? Wasn't it because they didn't want to risk their own lives? But now, being pushed to a dead end by Lu Changsheng, they had no choice but to fight desperately. Great Evolution Heavenly Secrets, Primordial Marvelous Application, Luck Transference, Calamity Self-Generated. Jai Xingzi was not idle either. Frontal combat was not his forte, but underhanded tricks were his specialty. He was currently using the Great Evolution Calamity Art, which could temporarily suppress a person's luck. The lower the luck, the more unfortunate events would befall that person. And in a battle between experts, even a tiny mistake could be fatal. Not to mention that Lu Changsheng was being besieged by so many people. If he made even a slight error, he might perish here. Not bad, commendable courage. Lu Changsheng saw so many powerful techniques being used against him, smiled slightly, and showed no panic, while silently thinking, System, I choose option 1. 167. The Buddha's light shines everywhere. Slash the gods 9 times. In an instant, a heaven-shaking, earth-shattering surge of chi shot into the sky, blasting a huge hole through the clouds above. A terrifying aura erupted from Lu Changsheng, causing the Tianji Divine Hall to shake violently. What's happening? Everyone was filled with doubt and surprise. How could it be like a sudden surge in strength? But with the arrow already on the string, they had no choice but to let it fly. Not only did they not retract their attacks, but they also increased the force in their hands by several points. Just as everyone's attacks were about to land on Lu Changsheng, a flash of brightness suddenly bloomed from his body. The brightness grew more and more intense, quickly transforming into a brilliant golden Buddha's light. The moment the golden Buddha's light appeared, a warning sign suddenly arose in everyone present. It was as if some terrifying danger was about to descend, causing an abnormal sense of dread. The next moment, an indescribable power erupted from the Buddha's light. Immediately, everything illuminated by the Buddha's light turned into dust. Dao weapons, formation flags, talismans, the Tianji Divine Hall, and even the bodies of the martial gods, and even Shu Fu, who had just been resurrected. With a gentle breeze, they all dissipated into the void realm. Great Brightness Fist Imprint's second form, Buddha's light illuminates. However, this Buddha's light was not a light to save people from suffering, but a terrifying power of destruction to the extreme. Annihilating everything, destroying everything. After the Buddha's light dissipated, only a large pit spanning dozens of miles remained in its place. Lu Changsheng stood in midair, surrounded by an empty and pristine space. No, to be precise, there was one more thing that was not destroyed by the Buddha's light. That was the peerless great Dao weapon from the astounding sword sect, the astonishing sword. Dead, all dead. Wang Jianyi's divine soul, which had escaped into the astonishing sword, watched everything around him instantly turn to dust, simply unable to believe his eyes. One must know that there were several high-grade Dao weapons among them. High-grade Dao weapons, even a 9-tribulation martial god wielding a peerless grade Dao weapon would find it very difficult to damage them. Yet, in that instant, even high-grade Dao weapons turned into dust, almost overturning his understanding of this world. Lu Changsheng's strength was despair-inducing. Wang Jianyi knew that even if he held a peerless grade Dao weapon, he would absolutely not be able to kill Lu Changsheng, and it would even be difficult to escape. Even if I die, I won't let you have it easy. As the most powerful sword god of the Tianyuan continent in his generation, Wang Jianyi's will was already like a sword, unyielding and indestructible. Even if he were to die, he would choose to unleash his most brilliant radiance before his demise. The astonishing sword, which had already entered the deeper space, suddenly shot out from the void realm. As if teleporting, it appeared directly behind Lu Changsheng. Go to hell! A bright yellow sword light illuminated the sky, and in an instant, the sword light flashed 9 times, striking out 9 swords with lightning speed. These 9 swords had no other special characteristics, their speed was simply astonishing to the extreme. Even Lu Changsheng's divine thought could only barely capture its trajectory, but before his physical body could react, the sword light had already struck him. Seeing this, Wang Jianyi's divine soul breathed a sigh of relief. That's right, his move was not aimed at Lu Changsheng's divine infant, but at his physical body. To destroy his physical body with extreme speed. Because Wang Jianyi knew very well that Lu Changsheng's divine infant was difficult for him to shake, but destroying his physical body could cut off his hope of breakthrough beyond the soul tribulation. However, the next scene completely filled Wang Jianyi with despair. The indestructible, incomparably sharp sword light struck Lu Changsheng's body fiercely, yet it produced the sound of metal clashing and even a series of sparks. It was as if he was not attacking Lu Changsheng's physical body, but some Dao weapon. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. This sword is the secret, unpassed technique of my astounding sword sect, 9 leaps of God slaying. And it was struck with a peerless grade Dao weapon. With my 6 tribulation strength, even a medium-grade Dao weapon would shatter with 1 sword strike, unless your physical body is comparable to a high-grade Dao weapon. Wang Jianyi's divine soul roared frantically, utterly unable to believe this scene. Among the Yao race, barbarian race, and human race, the human race's physical body is the weakest among those of the same realm. It is simply impossible to reach the strength of a high-grade Dao weapon. Currently, the strongest body-refining practitioner in the Tianyuan continent is the demon flood dragon king of the Yao race, who possesses true dragon bloodline, and his physical body is merely comparable to a medium-grade Dao weapon. For Lu Changsheng, a human race, it would be good if his physical body could be comparable to a medium-grade magic weapon. How could he possess such an incredibly terrifying physical body? You need to learn to open your eyes and see the world, instead of constantly shouting, impossible. Lu Chengsheng stretched out his palm and fiercely grabbed forward, and the peerless grade Dao weapon, astonishing sword, was seized in his hand, unable to break free. And his other hand was gripping more than a dozen clumps of divine soul, which were none other than Jai Xingzi and the others. They never expected that even with all their methods unleashed, they would still suffer such a crushing defeat. They didn't even have the power to retaliate. Lu Chengsheng, on the other hand, examined the peerless grade Dao weapon, astonishing sword, in his hand, his eyes showing appreciation. Peerless grade Dao weapons are the most top-tier weapons in the Little Yuan realm, and the appearance of each one is extremely rare. Currently, there are only 5 known peerless grade Dao weapons in the Tianyuan continent. They are the God-slaying axe and barbarian God seal of the barbarian race, the imperial jade seal of the great Qin dynasty, the astonishing sword of the astounding sword sect, and the gate of life and death of the Yuming sect. If the 7-star rogue, which has not yet appeared in the Star Luo secret realm, is added, then there would be 6. Among these, except for the imperial jade seal, the other 5, including this astonishing sword, were all passed down from ancient or even primeval times. Only the imperial jade seal was forged by the first emperor after unifying Shenzhou, using black dragon bone as the main material and gathering the power of the human race. From this, it can be seen how difficult it is for a peerless grade Dao weapon to appear in the world. Lu Chengsheng originally thought that the first peerless grade Dao weapon he would obtain would be the imperial jade seal, but he didn't expect it to be the astonishing sword, which was also an unexpected pleasant surprise. Even though Wang Jianyi only had the strength of a 6th tribulation martial god, under his control of the astonishing sword, he still posed a threat to Lu Chengsheng. If it weren't for the simulator as his backing, and having received the cultivation from the previous simulation, which made his physical body strength reach the high-grade Dao weapon level, he might have truly injured his physical body. But it would only be an injury, it was simply impossible for Wang Jianyi to destroy his physical body. Even if Lu Chengsheng had not received the cultivation, he could still use the last 3 forms of the Great Brightness Fist imprint to resolve this crisis. It was just that he had used Buddha's light illuminates once, and his divine soul power consumption exceeded 1/5, so he didn't want to continue consuming his divine soul power. Jai Xingzi, is this the auspicious divination you spoke of? You wouldn't be in league with that Lu Chengsheng, deliberately trying to harm us, would you? I must have lost my mind to actually believe a fortune teller. Just as Lu Chengsheng obtained the astonishing sword, the more than a dozen clumps of divine soul in his other hand started arguing. They were all cursing Jai Xingzi for being untrustworthy. As for Lu Chengsheng's physical body, although they were also very surprised, it couldn't overshadow their anger towards Jai Xingzi. If Jai Xingzi hadn't forcibly changed the resurrection location, they might not have become Lu Chengsheng's captives so quickly. Boom! At this moment, a thunderclap exploded in the sky, and an aura of death permeated, startling everyone and making them fall silent. Most of these martial gods had passed 4 lightning tribulations, and a small portion had even passed 6 lightning tribulations. Logically, they shouldn't have reacted like this. But the feeling of dread and impending disaster was so strong that it was hard not to react intensely. They cast their gaze towards the sky, only to see countless bolts of lightning surging out of the void realm, filling the sky. Rumble! The violent, 9-colored lightning shattered the clouds in the sky, directly forming a magnificent sea of lightning. Amidst the thunderous explosions, it was as if a world was being created. The aura of destruction, overwhelming, made all the martial gods feel as if doomsday had arrived. 168. Multiple thunder tribulations merge, and you are the first one to be operated on. This level of power, even the 9th lightning tribulation couldn't be more than this, right? Someone's divine thought trembled. They had never seen a 9-fold lightning tribulation, but they felt that any single bolt of lightning in this sea of thunder could make their soul flying away and spirit scattering. Who is undergoing tribulation? Our strength simply isn't worthy of such a lightning tribulation. Zhao Fengdelei of the Divine Firmament sect spoke with a tone of surprise and uncertainty. Among the 3 teachings and 6 sects, the Divine Firmament sect was the only major sect that primarily cultivated lightning techniques, so they were naturally the most sensitive to the power of lightning tribulation. In his eyes, the power of this lightning tribulation even exceeded that of the 9th lightning tribulation. Lightning usually originates from clouds, and the 9th lightning tribulation also has thunderclouds, but compared to previous thunderclouds, their scale is simply larger. But the lightning tribulation in the sky directly gushed out lightning from nothingness, even splitting apart the thunderclouds, directly forming a sea of thunder in place, and there were even scenes of world creation and destruction present. This kind of phenomenon had never been seen before, and he didn't know what kind of tribulation it was. It couldn't possibly be someone undergoing tribulation to break through above the soul calamity realm, could it? Has it come? Lu Chengsheng looked up at the sea of thunder in the sky, a little surprised in his heart. This was his first time undergoing tribulation multiple times consecutively in the simulator. Previously, he had always wondered how the lightning tribulation would manifest in reality after receiving the cultivation of multiple lightning tribulation. Would he have to re-undergoing tribulation the 7th, 8th, and 9th lightning tribulation completely, or would he directly skip the 7th and 8th lightning tribulation and undergoing tribulation the 9th lightning tribulation? Now it seemed neither was the case. Instead, the power of these 3 lightning tribulation had undergone a fusion, creating a type of lightning tribulation that had never appeared on the Tianyuan continent. At least, it was a type of lightning tribulation not recorded in the Tianji Pavilion's data. Of course, Lu Chengsheng was not worried about the power of the lightning tribulation. In the simulator, he could already cultivate long-term in the origin of lightning tribulation, the ancient thunder pool. No matter how powerful this lightning tribulation was, its upper limit would not exceed the ancient thunder pool, so the threat to him was not great. The greatest threat to him was the accompanying heart demon tribulation. From the 7th lightning tribulation onwards, the next 3 lightning tribulation all involved heart demons. The simulator also said that it took quite a bit of effort to undergoing tribulation them. And after the fusion of these 3 lightning tribulation, the power of the heart demon tribulation should also be unprecedented. Lu Chengsheng was not worried about whether he could undergoing tribulation the heart demon tribulation. Firstly, he had already condensed a perfect divine infant, and his divine soul was incredibly solid, making it difficult to be interfered with by external objects. Secondly, he had already undergoing tribulation 3 heart demon tribulation in the simulator. After receiving the cultivation, he could perceive that his spiritual will had also improved significantly. However, my style is to prevent problems before they arise. Although the risk was controllable, Lu Chengsheng felt it was better to simulate it. Opening the simulator, a prompt immediately popped up. A simulation costs 256 gold coins, and your balance is 0. Would you like to recharge immediately to proceed? Lu Chengsheng looked at the 20-odd soul crystal on his body and fell into contemplation. A portion of these 20-odd soul crystal was even plundered from the demon god. The soul crystal left by Zhang Zhao had long been almost used up by him. He opened the simulator just to see how big the deficit was. Now it seemed, as expected. He had undergoing tribulation the 9th lightning tribulation in the simulator, and the simulator completely treated him as a 9 tribulation martial god. Lu Chengsheng then went through all the spatial items he had obtained from the human race martial gods and finally found only a dozen soul crystal. Combined with what he already had, he had a total of 43, still short by 213. The total number of martial god divine soul he currently held exceeded 20, so refining over 200 soul crystal was naturally not a problem, it just required a bit of time. Boom! A pure green lightning bolt absorbed the sky full of electric snakes and fiercely struck Lu Chengsheng in a menacing posture. The lightning tribulation had begun. The moment the lightning tribulation descended, a divine infant, forged like purple gold crystal, emerged from Lu Chengsheng's sea of consciousness. Upon the divine infant, there were countless tiny and brilliant specks of light, like stars. Among them flowed an aura of eternal indestructibility. This is a perfect divine infant. The divine thought of Jai Xingzi, the heavenly demon sect master, and others were so powerful that they counted them in the blink of an eye. They found that the number of these light specks was exactly 129,600. Precisely the number of a yuan. But how was this possible? A 9 tribulation martial god could only open 1 divine aperture in several years, and even with the aid of soul crystal, 1 soul crystal could open less than 2 divine apertures. Moreover, to achieve a perfect divine infant, one must condense a 9-foot, 9-inch ultimate divine infant before the 9th tribulation, otherwise the divine infant would simply be unable to accommodate so many divine apertures. Various factors combined to make the perfect divine infant almost a legend. In the Middle Ages, it was only rumored that Laozi and Buddha had forged perfect divine infant, and even that was merely a rumor. In the recent ancient period, there weren't even any related rumors. Even Qin Zheng, the first emperor, who was hailed as the foremost figure of the recent ancient era, had only opened tens of thousands of divine apertures, still a considerable distance from 100,000 divine apertures. They never expected that they would witness a perfect divine infant in their lifetime. If Lu Changsheng had said earlier that he had forged a perfect divine infant, how would Zhao Fenglei and others dare to plot against his life behind his back? They would have directly tied up Jai Xingzi and submitted to him. Why didn't you say so earlier? Zhao Fenglei, Shang Chu, and others were filled with resentment. While everyone's thoughts were complex, the pure green divine thunderbolt that struck down from the sky had already been swallowed by Lu Changsheng's divine infant. He wanted to see if the lightning chi in this heavenly thunder still had any benefits for his divine soul after he had forged a perfect divine infant. After refining the lightning chi within it, he found that the speed of the soul thought divine treasure's gestation in his divine infant had increased by a faint trace. It seems it's still useful, but right now, the most important thing is to get the soul crystal out first. Lu Changsheng then ignored the heavenly thunder and allowed it to continuously strike his divine infant. This level of power was no different from a gentle breeze. Let alone causing harm, it even felt a little comfortable. The lightning striking the divine infant would not be wasted but would be directly absorbed by the divine infant. Still trying to hide inside? Come out. After Lu Changsheng placed the divine soul of Jai Xingzi and others into the spirit transformation bottle, he turned his gaze to the startling brilliant sword, and his divine thought surged out, directly pulling out Wang Jianyi's divine soul. Seeing Wang Jianyi's behavior, Lu Changsheng couldn't help but think of Li Zizai. If he hadn't forged a perfect divine infant in the simulator, and his divine soul had reached a state of eternal indestructibility, he really would have had no way to deal with this guy. You like to hide, do you? Then don't blame me for making you the first one to suffer. Lu Changsheng smiled coldly, directly throwing Wang Jianyi's divine soul into the spirit transformation bottle, and then activated the full power of the spirit transformation bottle. Inside the spirit transformation bottle's internal space, a white beam of light carrying a destructive aura shot up from the bottom of the spirit transformation bottle, trapping Wang Jianyi's divine soul in the light beam and continuously scouring him with various soul-refining runes. 169. Fierce Fight, Lei God and Tianming God. Ah! Wang Jianyi, who had intended to remain unyielding, immediately let out a pig-like shriek. He felt as if he had been flayed 1,000 times over and then thrown into a deep fryer. It was an unbearable torment, torture to the point of death. The other martial gods, seeing this, shrank into corners, trembling, silently praying that they wouldn't be next. These martial gods hiding in the corners were roughly divided into 3 groups. One group of human race martial gods, and one group of Yao race martial gods. The last group was a mix of human and Yao. These were Qin Junyi, Ren Wenchen, and the Divine Tiger King, 2 humans and 1 Yao. Qin Junyi was the great Qin Grand Emperor, and Ren Wenchen was the demon sect leader. They had many conflicts with other factions previously, so they naturally couldn't integrate with the other human race martial gods. The Divine Tiger King, on the other hand, had good relations with the Yao race during his lifetime, but because he was the first to die at Lu Changsheng's hands and didn't warn the other Yao gods, he was naturally resented and ostracized by the Yao. Thus, the 2 humans and 1 Yao, ostracized by their respective kin, tacitly formed a new group. There were simply too many martial god divine souls in this spirit transformation bottle, only by grouping together could they better survive. However, at this moment, Lu Changsheng's devil-like voice came from outside the bottle. I need 220 soul crystals. You either choose who dies next yourselves, or I'll randomly pick. As for the rest of you, you can live a little longer. Upon hearing this, the martial gods were first startled, then their hearts stirred. Especially the powerful martial gods, clearly, the former option was more beneficial to them. At this point, Jai Xingzi stepped forward and said, unless you make a heavenly Dao vow, we will not believe your words. Lu Changsheng's voice came again. Are you qualified to negotiate terms with me? Allowing you to live a few more days is already my benevolence to you. Ah! Inside the bottle, apart from Wang Jianyi's screams, a strange silence fell again. You only have 3 breaths to choose. 3, 1. Act. More than a dozen human race martial gods were the first to attack the 5 Yao gods. Qin Junyi, Ren Wenchen, and the Divine Tiger King also seized the opportunity to add insult to injury. Divine Tiger King, you traitor of the Yao race. The Demon Flood Dragon King, Dragon Lion King, and other Yao gods roared in anger. They never expected that the Divine Tiger King would side with the human race. If I don't join the human race forces, should I wait for death with you all? The Divine Tiger King snorted coldly, using a bit more of his divine soul power, directly sending the Dragon Lion King into the soul-refining light pillar first. Traitors are often more ruthless than enemies. Lu Chengsheng watched this scene from outside with great interest. He did this not out of some malicious amusement, but to accelerate divine soul refining. The more fiercely these martial gods fought, the weaker their divine souls became, and the faster he could refine them. Moreover, the soul power dissipated by the battle would also be absorbed by the spirit transformation bottle. All these factors combined increased his divine soul refining speed by at least 1/3. The heart demon tribulation usually appeared in the late stage of the lightning tribulation. Lu Chengsheng originally had ample time to refine the divine souls, but to prevent any accidents, he decided to speed up the refining process. However, these 5 Yao gods, 2-4 tribulation, 2-5 tribulation, and 1-6 tribulation, in the most ideal state, could only yield 80 soul crystals. Adding Wang Jianyi, it would be at most a little over 100, still leaving a gap of half, needing 220. Next, there was bound to be an even more brutal slaughter. In the ancient thunder pool, the origin of the lightning tribulation. Streaks of lightning flashed, forming silver waves, like a vast, boundless lake of mercury. Only the destructive power within was enough to shatter all divine thought. Above the ancient thunder pool, 100 Zhang giant god, holding a massive hammer, with a bird-like beak, and 2 thunder wings extending from his back, suddenly awoke, rose with a thunderous roar, and bellowed. Who was undergoing the destruction divine tribulation? Destruction divine tribulation. It was the ultimate lightning tribulation after the 9-fold lightning tribulation. It could also be called the 10th lightning tribulation. This kind of tribulation only appeared against anomalies that could threaten the heavenly Tao will itself. More than 5,000 years had passed, since Laozi and Buddha, had another anomaly appeared. Why had the heavenly mandate divine Lord, who monitored all life in the heavens and earth, not discovered any clues? Or was that fellow playing some scheme behind the scenes again? The thunder-hidden divine Lord originally intended to go directly and eliminate the anomaly, but thinking of this, he decided it would be better to inform the heavenly mandate divine Lord first. After all, the heavenly mandate divine Lord's pettiness was well known in the divine court, and the thunder-hidden divine Lord didn't want to be targeted by him. Thunder-hidden, what do you need me for? As soon as the thunder-hidden divine Lord sent the message, a 5-colored auspicious light leapt from the horizon, dazzling with brilliant radiance. After the 5-colored auspicious light dissipated, a young man's figure appeared. An ordinary face, black long hair, only his eyes showed the phenomenon of all beings rising and falling, adding a touch of mystery to him. Heavenly mandate, someone is undergoing the destruction divine tribulation. Is this person related to you? The thunder-hidden divine Lord asked. The young man said indifferently, where is this person undergoing tribulation? Look, the thunder-hidden divine Lord pointed at the lake surface, and immediately, a scene of Lu Chengsheng undergoing tribulation appeared. The destruction divine tribulation was not a lightning tribulation descended by rules, but a lightning tribulation descended by the heavenly Tao will. The thunder-hidden divine Lord already controlled a portion of the heavenly Tao's lightning authority. No matter where Lu Chengsheng was undergoing tribulation, as long as it was the destruction divine tribulation, it couldn't escape his perception. It was just that as the destruction divine tribulation poured down, the person undergoing tribulation actually ignored it, instead focusing on a small bottle, allowing the world-destroying heavenly lightning to strike his divine infant. This even startled the heavenly mandate divine Lord. Following the threads of destiny, the heavenly mandate divine Lord's eyes immediately revealed Lu Chengsheng's past. From birth, growth, to encountering natural disaster and becoming a refugee, just as he was about to starve to death, all scenes abruptly stopped. That point in time was when Lu Chengsheng transmigrated. To achieve such accomplishments in less than a year, this is an anomaly and should be executed. Although he didn't know what happened in the period afterward, a few months ago, he was still an ordinary person, yet now he could be unharmed under the destruction divine tribulation. If this wasn't an anomaly, then what was? Thinking of the actions of Laozi and Buddha, the 2 great anomalies, towards the divine court 5,000 years ago. The heavenly mandate divine Lord's usually unruffled face rarely showed a hint of evil chi. He absolutely could not let the events of that year repeat. In that case, should we call others to act together? The thunder-hidden divine Lord said. No need. The heavenly mandate divine lord shook his head. This person is far from the realm of Laozi and Buddha, you and I are enough. Besides, anomalies often have opportunities on them, why share them with others? The thunder-hidden divine lord nodded in agreement, then raised the thunder hammer in his hand and struck fiercely. Rumble, a bolt of lightning essence, spanning heaven and earth, carrying supreme explosive power, opened a spatial passage leading to the great evolution cave heaven. Afterward, the figures of the two divine lords disappeared into it. 170. The soul and the god are hidden, and the strength increases dramatically. Finally, I have gathered 256 soul crystals. In Great Evolution Cave Heaven, Lu Changsheng showed a hint of a smile on his face. It was not easy to gather these more than 200 soul crystals. All the Yao race martial gods, except for Divine Tiger King, died, and more than half of the human race martial gods also perished. Originally, there were still more than 20 martial god divine souls in the spirit transformation bottle, but now only 7 or 8 remain. Jai Xingzi and Ren Wenchen both survived, but Qin Junyi was betrayed by Ren Wenchen and Divine Tiger King and sent to the soul refining light pillar. Among the remaining martial gods, the one who performed most brilliantly was none other than the Yao race traitor, Divine Tiger King. Not only did he sell out all the Yao gods, but to prevent the divine souls in the soul refining light pillar from escaping, he also incited the surviving martial gods to help Lu Chengsheng refine the divine souls together. It's like the devil's mother opening the door for the devil, and the devil arriving home. Seeing Divine Tiger King's zealous effort, Lu Chengsheng decided to reward him by refining his soul next time. System, recharge. Recharge successful. Consuming 256 gold, simulation begins. At 17, you arrived at Great Evolution Cave Heaven, capturing and killing the divine souls of more than 10 human race martial gods in one fell swoop, then condensing a perfect divine infant, and a destruction divine tribulation descended from the heavens. The lightning in the lightning tribulation could not harm you in the slightest, but the subsequent heart demon tribulation caused you to be trapped within it for a full stick of incense. During this period, thunder-hidden divine lord and heaven's mandate divine lord descended. Seeing you trapped in the heart demon tribulation, they declared that heaven intended to destroy you, and then directly attacked you. They could even find their way here while I'm undergoing tribulation in the cave heaven. Lu Chengsheng was a little surprised. This had never happened in previous simulations. Either this destruction divine tribulation was extraordinary and allowed thunder-hidden divine lord to sense it directly. Or, with the help of heaven's mandate divine lord, thunder-hidden divine lord found this place. Also, you two are divine lords. Yet you ambush someone during their tribulation. You have no martial ethics at all. Isn't that going too far? Your physical body was severely damaged, and your divine infant gravely injured. Upon regaining consciousness, you were enraged and used the Great Brightness Fist imprint to kill thunder-hidden divine lord. Heaven's mandate divine lord, seeing the unfavorable situation, immediately fled. You dragged your heavily injured body to complete the remaining lightning tribulation. The feedback from the power of heaven and earth allowed your divine infant's injuries to recover by more than half. Afterward, you left Great Evolution Cave Heaven and returned to the Great Qin Imperial Mausoleum. After taking out the Imperial Jade Seal, you extensively searched for the Xingluo sect secret decree. 3 days later, you gathered all the Xingluo sect secret decrees, opened the secret realm gate, and walked in. The secret realm spirit greeted you with uncertainty, and just as it was about to say something, you killed it with one punch. After killing the secret realm spirit, you closed the secret realm entrance. While healing your injuries, you also broke through the formation leading to the treasury. Half a year later, you successfully opened the treasury, and your physical body and divine infant's injuries had also basically recovered. After obtaining the soul crystals from the treasury, you began to use them to accelerate the gestation of your soul sense hidden treasure. At 19, after consuming over 6,000 soul crystals, your soul sense hidden treasure was finally successfully gestated, and a phenomenon of golden lotuses emerging from the ground appeared within the secret realm. After the soul sense hidden treasure was successfully gestated, your divine soul power suddenly grew tenfold, and it continued to grow automatically every moment. You unleashed a full power, like a Buddha spreading the Dharma, which resulted in the collapse of half of the secret realm. The remaining half of the secret realm was also continuously collapsing into ruin, clearly uninhabitable. So, you shattered the void realm and arrived at Tianyuan continent. Soon after you arrived at Tianyuan continent, 7 divine lords broke through the void realm and came to kill you. You used only one, Celestial Buddha asks, to slay all the divine lords. Subsequently, the heavens and earth changed dramatically. A huge sword light descended from the 9 heavens to kill you. You used 10,000 Buddhas worship the ancestor to shatter this sword light. Profound Sky God Emperor perceived that your strength was not inferior to his. He no longer attacked you but instead, representing the heavenly Tao, urged you to quickly ascend to the upper realm. However, you paid no heed. I didn't expect that after this hidden treasure took shape, the increase in strength would be so great, not even inferior to a God Emperor. Lu Chengsheng was slightly astonished. This is only one hidden treasure. If the other 2 hidden treasures were also opened, what level of strength would he reach? I wonder if I can kill those monsters after ascending to the upper realm. Subsequently, you went to Baiyuan, killed the 10 barbarian gods, destroyed the Manwang temple, and obtained the peerless great Tao weapon, the god-slaying axe, and the barbarian god seal. Profound Sky God Emperor, seeing this, said that you had defied the general trend of heaven and earth. He did not hesitate to emerge from seclusion early and fought a great battle with you. Unfortunately, neither of you could do anything to the other in the end, and Profound Sky God Emperor left helplessly. At 20, you refined all the soul crystals and Divine Lord Divine Souls in your possession. The scale of your soul sense hidden treasure doubled, and your divine soul power also reached 20 times that when you condensed the perfect divine infant. Afterward, you charged towards the heavenly Tao secret realm above the 9 heavens. This is the closest place to the heavenly Tao will. Since Profound Sky God Emperor had already integrated with the Tao, his strength here surged. After an intense battle, you found that he grew stronger with each fight, so you had no choice but to retreat. At 21, you refined all the nirvana pills, and your physical body strength improved to a certain extent. Afterward, you began to temper your physical body using the soul art, Undying Dragon Body. Because your divine soul power reached an astonishing level, the tempering effect on your physical body far exceeded imagination, and your physical body rapidly strengthened at a terrifying speed. At 27, a strong man from beyond the heavens descended. After an indecisive battle with Profound Sky God Emperor, Profound Sky God Emperor asked you for help. You said the time was not yet ripe. Thus, Profound Sky God Emperor and the strong man from beyond the heavens fell into a standoff. During this period, the strong man from beyond the heavens continuously used a divine tree to destroy the cave heavens in the void realm surrounding Tianyuan continent. You worried that Bodhi Cave Heaven would be affected, so you brought out Zhang Kaling, Wan Hong, and other human race members. As for the red-haired monster, you directly killed it with one palm. The curse it uttered before its death automatically dissipated before it could even approach you. At 31, your physical body completed its first tempering, moving another step closer to the peerless grade Tao weapon level. Because your soul sense hidden treasure recovers divine soul power extremely quickly, consuming only 7 days to fully recover all expended soul power, you quickly began the second tempering. At 41, your physical body completed its second tempering, reaching the limit of the high-grade Tao weapon level, just a hair's breadth away from the peerless grade Tao weapon. At 51, your physical body completed its third tempering, finally reaching a level comparable to a peerless grade Tao weapon. You felt your physical body hidden treasure begin to gestate. At 54, Profound Sky God Emperor found you again. He said that the divine tree in the hands of the strong man from beyond the heavens was continuously absorbing the world origin of the Little Yuan realm, and its limit had not yet been seen. If this continues, in less than 200 years, the Little Yuan realm will head towards destruction. Profound Sky God Emperor hoped that you could abandon your past prejudices and work with him to slay the strong man from beyond the heavens. At that time, that divine tree could be yours, as long as you made a heavenly Tao oath not to use it to devour the world origin of the Little Yuan realm. Seeing your heart stirred, Profound Sky God Emperor struck while the iron was hot, saying that as he had integrated with the Tao, the more the world origin of the Little Yuan realm was lost, the weaker his strength would become. He hoped you could join forces with him as soon as possible. Hearing this, you no longer hesitated. After making a heavenly Tao oath, you and Profound Sky God Emperor went to the outer heavens and jointly fought the strong man from beyond the heavens. 171. The secret realm of the heavenly Tao changes, and the heart demon tribulation comes. You too completely suppressed the strong man from beyond the heavens. Just as he was about to be defeated, he gave a self-deprecating smile and said, "I didn't expect that I would need to use a divine ability to kill 2 ants who aren't even in the divine power realm." You secretly thought things were bad and fled. Just then, the void realm solidified, and the strong man from beyond the heavens' third heavenly eye opened in the center of his brows. Amidst the flashing divine light, you, profound sky god emperor, and all your supreme Tao weapons turned to ash. Is this the power of a divine ability? Lu Changsheng was greatly astonished. Supreme Tao weapons were almost synonymous with invincibility in the Little Yuan realm. It was even extremely difficult to damage them, let alone destroy them. He hadn't expected them to be as fragile as paper under a divine ability. And that Shu Fu was also a flesh and blood puppet formed by divine ability power, the person behind him was most likely this strong man from beyond the heavens. This meant that the other party possessed more than one divine ability. Not to mention there was also a divine tree of unknown depth. It seemed that before stepping into the divine power realm, it would be almost impossible to kill this strong man from beyond the heavens. However, the divine power realm was not too far off for Lu Changsheng. Simulation ended. You can retain one of the following items. 1. The cultivation realm at 54 years old. 2. The cultivation experience at 54 years old. I choose 1. Boom. As Lu Changsheng made his choice, earth-shattering changes immediately occurred within his divine infant. A furnace instantly formed within the divine infant and rapidly grew stronger. Lu Changsheng could feel powerful, almost endless divine soul power continuously being released from this furnace. This was the Soul Sense Divine Treasury. From the outside, the Soul Sense Divine Treasury looked only a dozen times larger than a divine aperture, but its interior was vast and boundless. At this moment, a large number of golden lotus flowers emerged from the ground. When the divine treasury forms, heaven and earth celebrate it. As the Soul Sense Divine Treasury formed and grew, Lu Changsheng's mental will was also cleansed, becoming even stronger and unshakable. Afterward, his physical body also began to undergo transformation. His physical body was already comparable to a high-grade Tao weapon, and now it was transforming again on that foundation. His flesh and blood rippled, and his bones vibrated, creating bursts of thunderous sounds that even overshadowed the thunder in the sky. Just as Lu Changsheng's divine infant and physical body were transforming, in the heavenly Tao secret realm above the 9 heavens, a blood-red meteor suddenly streaked across the sky, seemingly wanting to split the firmament in half. All living beings in the entire secret realm could clearly see it. Blood star streaking across the sky. Why would such an anomaly appear? What happened? Heavenly Dipper Divine Lord frowned, somewhat confused. A blood star streaking across the sky was a warning from the heavenly Tao to the divine court, usually indicating that a great tribulation was about to occur. The divine court conducted a detailed inspection of the human world every 3 years. The last inspection was half a year ago, and no abnormalities were found. He completely didn't understand why the heavenly Tao would suddenly warn them. What anomaly occurred in the Little Yuan realm? Time Divine Lord, Wangquan God, Yu's Divine Lord, and others exchanged glances, feeling uneasy. Just as everyone was in doubt, a grand heavenly sound came from the depths of the heavenly Tao secret realm. A supreme strong man whose strength is no less than this emperor's has appeared in the Little Yuan realm. You all go and summon Thunder Hidden and Tianming, and tell the 2 divine lords to stay in the heavenly Tao secret realm recently and not go out. After this emperor exits seclusion, I will sweep away everything. Understood. The divine lords bowed in response, but their hearts were filled with shock. They knew profound Sky God Emperor's strength best. It could be said that even if all the divine lords joined forces, they would hardly be a match for profound Sky God Emperor. When did such a figure appear in the Little Yuan realm? Shouldn't the heavenly Tao will have excluded him from this world? It couldn't possibly be a strong man born locally, could it? If a native of the Little Yuan realm reached such a realm, the heavenly Tao would likewise not exclude him. However, this possibility was almost zero. The divine lords speculated that it was very likely a strong man from beyond the heavens who had smuggled in through some means. Even though the mysterious strong man's strength was terrifying, the divine lords were not overly worried. Because profound Sky God Emperor was about to complete the great feat of integrating his body with the Tao. At that time, he and the heavenly Tao would be indistinguishable, and if the mysterious strong man did not flee, he would only face destruction. As for the task of finding someone, it ultimately fell to Yu's and Heavenly Dipper Divine Lords. The 2 had the closest relationship with Thunder Hidden and Tianming, so it was most appropriate for these 2 divine lords to handle it. Great Evolution Cave Heaven. Lu Changsheng's transformation was complete. He felt his current power was as vast as an abyss and as deep as the sea. Let alone a mere destruction divine tribulation, he could even destroy the great evolution cave heaven, this small world. It's time to end this. Lu Changsheng's physical body directly stepped into the sea of thunder in the sky and, with an open mouth, sucked it in, like a glutton opening its terrifying maw. The sea of thunder, whose power was infinitely close to the ancient thunder pool, was actually swallowed whole by his physical body. In just a dozen breaths, the sea of thunder was completely devoured, and by a physical body at that, a body of flesh and blood. If this were spread, no one would dare believe it. However, this unbelievable scene truly happened before the eyes of the 7 or 8 martial god divine souls remaining in the spirit transformation bottle. Just now, Lu Changsheng refined the divine souls of more than 10 martial gods in one go, causing many formations within the spirit transformation bottle, a medium-grade Dao weapon, to be damaged due to overload. The formation that shielded divine soul perception was one of them. Although the divine souls of Jai Xingzi, Ren Wenchen, Divine Tiger King, and others could see outside, the scene they saw only made them more desperate. His strength had already increased bizarrely, and now he could swallow such a terrifying lightning tribulation with just his physical body. Did they still have any hope of escaping? Currently, it seemed there was no hope at all. Don't forget, he still has the heart demon tribulation to overcome. Strength doesn't mean strong mental will. Even if his mental will is very strong, he will be trapped for a long time. At that time, I will teach you a combined attack secret technique to break open this spirit transformation bottle and escape. Jai Xingzi's divine soul emitted faint fluctuations, rekindling a spark of hope in everyone's hearts. And just as Jai Xingzi finished speaking, Lu Changsheng found himself in an incredibly realistic, unfamiliar scene, where enemies who had died by his hand appeared before him one by one. The heart demon tribulation had arrived. Not long after Lu Changsheng fell into the heart demon tribulation, the void realm suddenly shattered, and a stable spatial passage extended from it. 2 terrifying figures, one with a lightning anomaly and the other with an anomaly of all living beings in flux, stepped out of the spatial passage. The destruction divine tribulation should last at least a day and a night. How could it end so quickly? Thunder-hidden divine lord arrived at the great evolution cave heaven and was immediately surprised to see a clear sky. Tianming divine lord looked at Lu Changsheng, who had his eyes tightly shut, and said indifferently, this anomaly must have used some method to pass the destruction divine tribulation ahead of time. Then Tianming divine lord's face showed a cold smile. However, he only knows of the lightning tribulation and the heart demon tribulation, but he doesn't know there's also the human tribulation. Thunder hidden, if you don't act now while the opportunity is so good, when will you? 172. Killed 3 great gods in a row, the sword of heaven. Having lived for so many years, Heavenly Dipper Divine Lord was naturally not a pedantic person and understood the principle of striking while the iron was hot. Upon hearing this, he immediately raised the thunder hammer in his hand and charged towards Lu Changsheng. Boom! Purple-blue lightning shattered the void realm, and the phantoms of ancient thunder mountains emerged within the thunder hammer, containing incredibly terrifying immense power, smashing down towards Lu Changsheng. It was as if countless ancient thunder mountains were crashing down. The earth sank. The void realm exploded. Thunder roared, shaking the heavens and earth. However, when the sky full of thunder light dissipated, a large pit several tens of miles wide appeared below, but Lu Changsheng still stood in place, completely unharmed. Not only was he not injured, but even his clothes were not damaged. This, Heavenly Dipper Divine Lord's eyes showed a hint of bewilderment. His giant hammer was called the Purple Thunder Hammer, forged from ancient divine wood and tempered in the ancient thunder pool for thousands of years. It had long reached the peerless grade Dao weapon level. With his full-powered hammer strike, a 9 tribulation martial god would be reduced to ashes, and a divine lord, if they didn't block, would also be severely wounded. However, this Lu Changsheng was clearly caught in a heart demon tribulation and offered no resistance, yet he was completely unharmed, and even his clothes were not damaged. Heavenly Dipper Divine Lord for the first time doubted his own strength, which he was so proud of. Or was he also caught in a heart demon tribulation, and everything before his eyes was an illusion? This demon star still isn't dead. The martial god in the spirit transformation bottle appeared disappointed. These 2 unknown powerful individuals had exceptionally astonishing aura. Even from a distance, they could give everyone a sense of trepidation. They originally thought that their attack would be earth-shattering, but they didn't expect it to even scratch the demon star's skin. Something's not right. Thunder hidden, let's attack together. Heavenly Dipper Divine Lord took out his life-bound weapon, the sky measuring ruler, and said with a solemn expression. The number of divine apertures he had opened was nearly 10,000 more than Thunder Hidden Divine Lord. He had seen it clearly just now. Under Thunder Hidden's attack, Lu Chengsheng's physical body automatically protected its master. A layer of golden light appeared, dissolving all of Thunder Hidden Divine Lord's attacks into nothingness, which was very strange. Boom, boom, 2 more terrifying attacks landed. The purple thunder hammer and the sky measuring ruler radiated dazzling light, releasing terrifying power that seemed to destroy everything in front of them. A layer of golden light once again appeared on Lu Chengsheng's body, resisting the attacks of the 2 divine lords. However, the golden light was ultimately only automatic body protection, constantly flickering under the attacks of the 2 divine lords. Just as it was about to give out, 2 iron-like palms suddenly stretched out and grabbed both the purple thunder hammer and the sky measuring ruler. A pair of eyes filled with evil chi opened, coldly staring at the 2 divine lords. Who else could it be but Lu Chengsheng, who had just finished undergoing tribulation from his heart demon tribulation? How so fast? Jai Xingzi and the others were too shocked to speak. Thunder Hidden and Heavenly Dipper arrived later, so they might not know how long he had been in the heart demon tribulation. But Jai Xingzi and the others had watched from beginning to end. Lu Chengsheng went from falling into the heart demon tribulation to waking up in just 4 or 5 breaths. Such a short time was simply outrageous. Even those who had experienced much and had firm minds would need several hours to break through the heart demon tribulation. Those with weaker wills might need several days and nights, or even never wake up. Such a fast speed of undergoing tribulation like Lu Chengsheng's was unheard of. 2 little bugs, you've been jumping around long enough. Lu Chengsheng's gaze was cold. Having just finished a massacre in his heart demon tribulation, his evil chi was astonishing. At this moment, a cold snort made the void realm tremble. Not good. Heavenly Dipper Divine Lord secretly thought that things were not good. Lu Chengsheng stood there, letting them attack, yet they could not harm him in the slightest. Now that he had awakened, there was probably no chance of winning. So he abandoned the sky measuring ruler and turned to flee. Thunder Hidden Divine Lord's reaction, however, was not as quick. While he was hesitating whether to escape, the purple thunder hammer in his hand suddenly broke free from his control, was lifted high by Lu Chengsheng, and smashed heavily onto his body. 1 strike, 2 strikes, 3 strikes. Thunder Hidden Divine Lord's body was first smashed with a bloody hole, then his upper body disintegrated, and when the 3rd strike landed, that space could not bear it and directly exploded. Heavenly Dipper Divine Lord saw this scene and shivered in fear, running even faster. The fear that had been gone for 10,000 years resurfaced within him. However, he was still very confident in his ability to escape. In just 1 or 2 breaths, he shattered the void realm and escaped from Great Evolution Cave Heaven, then arrived at Tianyuan continent, pierced through space, and flew like a fleeting shadow towards the Heavenly Dao secret realm. Almost, I'll be safe immediately. After I return, I must report this matter to Profound Sky God Emperor. Looking at the entrance of the Heavenly Dao secret realm appearing in his sight, Heavenly Dipper Divine Lord rejoiced in his heart. However, at this moment, the heavens and earth suddenly darkened. A giant palm pressed down on him with a thunderous roar. No! Heavenly Dipper Divine Lord screamed frantically. Looking at the secret realm gate so close, his eyes were filled with unwillingness. Stay your hand. Before the secret realm gate, a figure suddenly appeared. It was Heavenly Dipper Divine Lord, who had returned after failing to find Heavenly Dipper Divine Lord. He had searched all the places Heavenly Dipper Divine Lord frequented but found no trace of him. He had originally planned to return and report to the God Emperor, but at the entrance, he found that Heavenly Dipper Divine Lord was actually being pursued and killed by someone else. Daring to pursue and kill a Divine Lord. This was the first time in 10,000 years. Boom! The giant palm still pressed down mercilessly, and under the immense pressure, Heavenly Dipper Divine Lord's body shattered inch by inch. Soon, only a pile of divine soul thoughts remained, scurrying around in place, but they were grabbed in the hand by the giant palm. How dare you! Heavenly Dipper Divine Lord was furious. A Divine Lord of the Divine Court was actually killed in front of the Heavenly Dao Secret Realm gate. This was a great humiliation. Noisy. Lu Chengsheng stepped through the void realm, pointing a finger. A terrifying finger force pierced out violently, golden light shining, just like a golden true dragon winding through the void realm. The terrifying aura, even the secret realm gate protected by layers of formation, could not withstand it and instantly exploded. And Heavenly Dipper Divine Lord, standing below the gate, was violently thrown out by this blow, directly exploding in midair. Mortal, you are seeking death. Just then, a voice filled with rage suddenly came, carrying vast and unfathomable majesty, resounding through the sky. In less than 10 breaths, 3 divine lords had fallen into Lu Chengsheng's hands one after another. And each divine lord had a heavenly Tao imprint on them. For every one that died, a heavenly Tao imprint would dissipate. Profound Sky God Emperor, sensing the dissipation of 3 imprints, was furious beyond measure. Even though he was at the critical juncture of Tao integration, he couldn't help but make a move. Die! A vast sword intent rushed out from the heavenly Tao secret realm, obliterating everything. The terror and power of that sword intent made the remaining 8 divine lords and all living beings in the heavenly Tao secret realm tremble, as if ants facing the heavens. Good swordplay. Lu Chengsheng had to admit that this was the most terrifying sword he had ever seen. The previous Wang Jianyi, even though he was known as the sword god, was not even fit to carry his shoes in front of this sword. Because this was no longer a human sword technique. This was the sword of the heavens. 173. Bodhi Tree Seedling. From today on, the world belongs to me. Boom. The moment the sword of the heavens appeared, Lu Chengsheng's mind entered a state of emptiness, as if he had merged with the heaven and the universe, seeing the most origin point of light at the beginning of creation. Immeasurable light burst forth from Lu Chengsheng. Wherever the light reached, it annihilated everything. Destroyed everything. The terrifying sword of the heavens, upon encountering the golden Buddha's light, melted away rapidly like ice and snow meeting the scorching sun. Soon, it vanished completely. Great Brightness Fist Imprint's second form, Buddha's light illuminates. The 8 divine sovereigns' mouths hung open, as if they couldn't believe their eyes. This was a God Emperor's enraged strike, yet it was blocked so effortlessly. They naturally recognized that this was the Great Brightness Fist Imprint passed down by Shakyamuni 5,000 years ago, and it was the second form, Buddha's light illuminates. The crucial point was that when Shakyamuni used this move back then, it wasn't this terrifying. They, of course, didn't know that the power of this form, besides the power of the divine soul, was also closely related to the physical body's strength. The stronger the physical body, the stronger the Buddha's light unleashed. Lu Chengsheng's current physical body was comparable to a peerless grade Tao weapon, and he had already begun to nurture a physical body hidden treasure. Shakyamuni's physical body back then was not this terrifying, so its power was naturally a level weaker. Under Lu Chengsheng's full burst of power, the Buddha's light formed by Buddha's light illuminates could even destroy a peerless grade Tao weapon. No matter how powerful the sword of the heavens was, its power could at most cause damage to a peerless grade Tao weapon, so it was naturally no match for Lu Chengsheng's Buddha's light illuminates. It's impolite not to return a favor. You also take a strike from my Great Brightness Fist Imprint. Lu Chengsheng's divine infant left his body, rapidly expanding into a gigantic golden Buddha that filled the heaven and earth, with one hand pointing to the sky and the other touching the ground. Great Brightness Fist Imprint's third form, Celestial Buddha asks. It is said that when the Buddha attained Tao under the Bodhi tree, he pointed one hand to the sky and touched the ground with the other. This form, Celestial Buddha asks, was a reenactment of the Great Terror and Great Transcendence power from the Buddha's enlightenment. The gigantic golden Buddha stood silently outside the heavenly Tao secret realm, infinitely vast, as if there was nothing more noble than it. The great Buddha's lips slightly parted, emitting a grand and sacred voice, above and below heaven, I alone am honored. Within the heavenly Tao secret realm, all living beings trembled. It was as if a true Buddha was expounding the Dharma before them, his voice like thunder, captivating all who heard it. However, accompanying the Buddha's voice was not only Zen enlightenment but also an extremely powerful destructive force. Bang, 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 in just a single breath, all living beings immersed in the Buddha's voice exploded into blood mist. Even the 8 divine sovereigns were sent flying by this power, smashing through one palace after another in the divine court. A single phrase of Buddha's voice, above and below heaven, I alone am honored, caused over 90% of the living beings in the heavenly Tao secret realm to die or be injured. The remaining ones were also severely wounded, barely clinging to life. Your Excellency, why are you being so aggressive? Did you come here today just to fight my divine court to the death? Profound Sky God Emperor's voice sounded again, but this time it was filled with calmness and rationality, no longer shouting threats at Lu Chengsheng. What do I want to do? Your divine court's thunder hidden and Tianming ambushed me while I was undergoing tribulation. Shouldn't I first ask what your divine court wants to do? Lu Chengsheng was not surprised by Profound Sky God Emperor's shift from arrogance to humility. This precisely echoed the saying. When you have no sword in your hand, no matter how reasonable you are, your enemy will not listen to you. When you truly have a sword in your hand, no matter how unreasonable your demands, your enemy will listen carefully to your requests. Seeing that he was helpless against him, even though he had killed 3 divine lords of the divine court and 90% of the living beings in the heavenly Tao's secret realm, profound Sky God Emperor could only swallow his anger and speak amicably. So that's how it is. Since my divine court was in the wrong first in this matter, I am willing to offer 3 Bodhi leaves as compensation. These Bodhi leaves have the supreme effect of enhancing comprehension ability and aiding in comprehending the Tao. For those of our realm, a single Bodhi leaf is even more precious than a peerless grade Tao weapon. What do you think? Profound Sky God Emperor's voice sounded again. How can 3 be enough? At least 300, right? Lu Chengsheng said. Profound Sky God Emperor fell silent. He had only obtained 9 Bodhi leaves back then. Lu Chengsheng asked for 300 leaves right off the bat. Did he want to use the Bodhi leaves to make tea? It seems I have to take out that item, profound Sky God Emperor thought to himself. If he didn't satisfy Lu Chengsheng today, he certainly wouldn't let the matter rest. Now was the most critical moment for merging with the Tao. In another 2 or 3 months, he would be able to completely merge his body with the heavenly Tao, and then he would possess heavenly Tao level power. He had been planning for this moment for tens of thousands of years. Now, a small impatience would ruin a great plan. That item could just be temporarily kept by Lu Chengsheng, and he would retrieve it later. With that thought, profound Sky God Emperor no longer hesitated. A clear light was sent out from his secluded cultivation place. The clear light left the heavenly Tao's secret realm and arrived before Lu Chengsheng, revealing 3 withered yellow leaves and a verdant sapling. Both exuded a mysterious Tao rhythm, especially the sapling. Just by looking at it, Lu Chengsheng felt his spiritual perception increase several times over. It was definitely an extremely rare item. Here are 3 Bodhi leaves and a Bodhi tree sapling. After the Buddha attained Tao under the Bodhi tree back then, that Bodhi tree withered. This is a sapling that grew from that withered Bodhi tree after I nourished it with the power of the world origin for 3,000 years. If you can raise it, you will have an inexhaustible supply of Bodhi leaves. I offer this as compensation. Are you satisfied? Profound Sky God Emperor's ethereal voice came again. Since God Emperor is so sincere, then I, Lu, will reluctantly accept it. Lu Chengsheng accepted the 3 Bodhi leaves and the Bodhi tree sapling, a hint of a smile on his face. The Bodhi tree represents wisdom and enlightenment. Legend has it that the first Bodhi tree in the world was an earthly spiritual root that survived the tribulation of creation. Now, countless eons have passed since the creation of heaven and earth. The Bodhi tree under which the Buddha meditated and attained Tao was naturally not the first Bodhi tree, but it was equally extraordinary, capable of inspiring wisdom and increasing one's comprehension ability. Even after it withered, it was still revered as a sacred tree in Small Layan Temple. He had thought that this withered Bodhi tree had been destroyed with the fall of Small Layan Temple, but he never expected it to fall into the hands of profound Sky God Emperor, who even cultivated a sapling from it. Profound Sky God Emperor must have thought that Lu Chengsheng would find it difficult to use this sapling, but he didn't know that Lu Chengsheng had the simulator and could completely cultivate and use it within the simulator. After receiving the items, Lu Chengsheng drifted away, leaving only a sentence echoing in the void realm. From today onwards, the human realm belongs to me, and the divine court shall not interfere. Upon hearing this, the already severely injured divine lords almost spat out another mouthful of old blood. Not only did he accept benefits from the God Emperor, but he also wanted the entire human realm. This was simply too greedy. Lord God Emperor, are we just going to let this go? Di Sha Divine Lord said with a face full of indignation. The divine court was the supreme existence that maintained the order of heaven and earth, always viewing all beings as ants and the major forces in the human realm as chess pieces. When had they ever been so aggrieved? You all endure for a period. When this emperor emerges from seclusion, I will naturally settle all accounts. Profound Sky God Emperor's tone revealed unparalleled confidence. 174. Destroy the Tianji Pavilion. The Imperial Seal is in hand. Mist Fiend Sea, Storm Sea. Amidst the surging waves, a massive tungsten wood ship steadily sailed southwest. That direction was precisely where the land of Absolute Zero was located. On the deck, a composed middle-aged man was gazing into the distance. The middle-aged man's name was Fu Yu, a peak Faxiong realm cultivator, and the 4th-ranked elder of Tianji Pavilion. Many others were carefully accompanying him on either side. At the current speed, it will probably take several more years to reach the land of absolute zero. Fu Yu sighed slightly. This journey was too long. With the return trip, it would take a full decade. A few months ago, the branch in the land of absolute zero suddenly lost contact. The land of absolute zero was the birthplace of the demon star, and the high-ranking officials of Tianji Pavilion dared not neglect it, so they quickly dispatched Fu Yu to ascertain the truth. The most important objective of this trip was to investigate whether the demon star had been born. As for the fate of the land of absolute zero branch, it seemed less important. If no trace of the demon star was found, Fu Yu would rebuild the Tianji Pavilion branch and then return. Just then, a disciple ran out of the ship's cabin, holding a communication stone, and excitedly shouted to Fu Yu. "Master, news has come from the sect. It says the demon star has appeared on the Tianyuan continent, and the pavilion master and other martial saints are discussing countermeasures. We don't need to go to the land of absolute zero anymore." The demon star had appeared. Fu Yu was first stunned, then quickly confirmed, "Are you sure what you said is true?" "Absolutely true. How could this disciple dare to joke about such a matter?" Saying that, the personal disciple who had come closer handed the communication stone to Fu Yu. After confirming the news was true, Fu Yu revealed a hint of excitement. "That's great, absolutely great." For over 1,000 years, the legend of the demon star had been like a nightmare, lingering in the hearts of every elder and disciple of Tianji Pavilion, difficult to dispel. As the saying goes, the unknown is the most terrifying. Rather than living in constant dread, many in Tianji Pavilion, including Fu Yu, would rather confront the demon star head-on. Whoosh, whoosh. Suddenly, a fierce wind arose. An astonishingly fast streak of light, carrying rolling chi currents and tremors, instantly slammed onto the deck. Boom! With a massive impact, the tungsten wood ship shattered into pieces. Fu Yu felt his body lighten, and he was snatched into the high sky. Below, layers of ripples spread out. Without the protection of the formation on the tungsten wood ship, the other people on board immediately became food for the sea monsters, and cries of agony continuously echoed. No! Just as Fu Yu watched with eyes splitting from rage, a voice suddenly sounded in his ear. "What did you just say was great?" He turned his head to look, and it was a white-clothed youth with a refined and jade-like demeanor. And he himself was bound in midair by an inexplicable force, unable to move. "Who are you?" Fu Yu's voice was hoarse. "Haven't you been looking for me?" The white-clothed youth smiled slightly. "You are the demon star." Fu Yu paled in shock, then sneered, "The pavilion master and the others already know of your existence. What if you kill me? The pavilion master and the others will still avenge me." "Are you talking about Jai Xingzi?" Lu Chengsheng took out a divine soul. After a search of the soul, Jai Xingzi's divine soul appeared a bit listless. "Pavilion master." Fu Yu was utterly terrified. Didn't they say the pavilion master was discussing countermeasures with the other martial saints? Why would his divine soul appear in the demon star's hands? "Don't be so surprised, there's another grand show prepared for you." Lu Chengsheng smiled slightly and took Fu Yu towards Tianji Pavilion. In the simulations within the land of absolute zero, Lu Chengsheng had died at this person's hands countless times. This time, he came here specifically to entertain him properly. A moment later, in midair, Lu Chengsheng looked at the Tianji Pavilion mountain gate below and said to Fu Yu, "Tell me, what kind of death do you want to give your fellow disciples?" "Run!" Fu Yu's mournful scream echoed throughout Tianji Pavilion. He was making his last effort to preserve a glimmer of hope for Tianji Pavilion. How does that sound like Fourth Elder's voice? The disciples of Tianji Pavilion were a bit confused. Wasn't Fourth Elder on his way to the land of absolute zero? Even if the demon star appeared, he couldn't return so quickly, could he? And nearly 100 Faxiong realm human martial saints of Tianji Pavilion instantly located the two figures in the sky based on the source of the sound. One of them had disheveled hair and a distorted face, vaguely recognizable as Fu Yu. The other, however, made one's scalp tingle. It was none other than the demon star, Lu Chengsheng. "Run!" The Faxiong realm human martial saints also roared in unison, simultaneously fleeing quickly towards the outside of the sect. As for activating the formation, even the ancestral dragon grand formation couldn't stop Lu Chengsheng, so how much effect could their Tianji Pavilion sect protecting formation have? "Since you find it difficult to choose, I'll help you." With that, Lu Chengsheng raised his jade-white palm and pressed it down towards Tianji Pavilion. Rumble. As if the sky were falling, an immeasurably vast hand slammed down towards Tianji Pavilion. Faintly, countless spaces could be seen forming and collapsing under the giant palm. Between the creation and destruction of space, there was great terror. It's the demon star. The demon star has attacked. No, I don't want to die. Run. Various streaks of light flew out from Tianji Pavilion, fleeing in all directions. The Grand Elder of Tianji Pavilion stood still, shaking his head with a bitter smile. Indeed, destiny cannot be defied. Perhaps what ancestral master saw back then was this very scene today. As for fleeing, this palm covered an area of several hundred li, how could they possibly escape? Furthermore, the demon star was already invincible. The people he wanted to kill, even if they fled to the ends of the earth, it would be useless. Bang! After an earth-shattering roar, the ground shook, and a massive earthquake occurred within an area of 10,000 li. When the dust settled, only a palm print 300 to 400 li in size was left in its place. Perhaps calling it a small basin would be more appropriate. As for everything and everyone in Tianji Pavilion, including the sect-protecting formation, they all vanished into thin air under this single palm strike. This was pure physical body strength. Liu Chengsheng's physical body strength at this time was comparable to a pure grade Dao weapon. Even a casual strike was equivalent to a full power strike from a peerless grade Dao weapon. Below the God Emperor, no one could resist. Impossible, it's all fake, haha, it's all fake. After annihilating Tianji Pavilion, Liu Chengsheng felt satisfied, but Fu Yu had gone mad. He simply couldn't believe that everything before his eyes was real. His fellow disciples, his apprentices, all died. The sect-protecting formation, which was said to be able to withstand a 9 tribulation martial god, had no effect whatsoever, breaking like a bubble with a single touch. Tianji Pavilion, which was among the 3 teachings and 6 sects and looked down upon the world's affairs, was so easily destroyed. Fu Yu felt as if he were in a dream, his mind beginning to wander, incessantly muttering nonsense. Alas, how pitiful. Fortunately, I am a kind-hearted person and cannot bear to see others suffer. If you had met someone else, you would have been truly miserable. Saying that, Liu Chengsheng flicked his finger, and Fu Yu's body, accompanied by a scream, directly exploded into a cloud of blood mist, following his fellow disciples. After destroying Tianji Pavilion, Liu Chengsheng returned to the Shenyang Imperial Mausoleum. The Imperial Jade Seal moved continuously within the deep space of the Imperial Mausoleum. Previously, Liu Chengsheng would have had to expend considerable effort to pinpoint its exact location. However, after condensing a perfect divine infant and nurturing a divine treasure, his divine thought perception was astonishing. With a single sweep, there were no longer any secrets in the deep space of the Imperial Mausoleum. He reached out and grabbed, his hand directly penetrating the deep space, fearless of the spatial cutting force there, and pulled out a 4-inch square seal. The seal was entirely white jade, with a coiled dragon atop it, and engraved with the 8 characters, "Received mandate from heaven, longevity and prosperity," below, emitting a rich true dragon qi. 175. Qin Yi's death, prepare to impact the realm of supernatural power. As soon as the Imperial Jade Seal appeared, the sky above Shenyang City was immediately filled with the auspicious signs of true dragons soaring and phoenixes crying out in unison, visible to everyone in the entire Imperial City. This is a sign of the Imperial Jade Seal appearing. A high-ranking court official exclaimed. The Imperial Jade Seal is a peerless grade supreme Dao weapon of unparalleled power. When the first emperor swept across the 6 directions and toward the world, he encountered an ambush by 3 9 tribulation martial gods who had been reclusive for many years. It was by wielding the Imperial Jade Seal that he suppressed and killed all 3 9 tribulation martial gods. It can be said that the might of the Imperial Jade Seal has deeply ingrained itself in the bones of the Qin people. Could it be that the Imperial Jade Seal has a spirit, and seeing Great Qin in dire straits, it boldly appeared, wishing to turn the tide? Someone deeply concerned for the Qin family said with excitement. It should be known that the imperial bloodline is spread throughout the world. Even if the main branch in the imperial city is annihilated, other collateral branches still exist. If these people can obtain the Imperial Jade Seal, they might still have hope for a resurgence in the future. The appearance of the Imperial Jade Seal not only alarmed the people of the imperial city but also startled the divine court above the 9 heavens. Although the Imperial Jade Seal is a peerless grade Dao weapon, unlike other peerless grade Dao weapons, it is also a precious treasure that suppresses the luck of a clan. According to the divine court's predetermined trajectory for the future world, This imperial jade seal should have been obtained by the barbarians to suppress their luck and extend their millennium-long rule. However, it has now fallen into Lu Changsheng's hands. But this is only temporary. Once profound Sky God Emperor emerges from his seclusion and kills him, everything will naturally return to its original course. Inside the imperial jade seal, Qin Yi was utterly terrified. He had originally thought that Lu Changsheng would not be able to discover the existence of the imperial jade seal, but unexpectedly, after a short while, he returned and directly grabbed it in his hand. This is an unrefined peerless grade Dao weapon. Even a tiny leak of its power could reduce a martial god to dust. How could it be held with bare hands? Qin Yi felt this world had become unfamiliar. Lu Changsheng toyed with the imperial jade seal, his divine thought probing inside, discovering 3 layers of space within. The first layer was the Golden Luan Hall. The second layer was the imperial capital's major cities. The third layer was the world of the empire. The 3 layers of space grew larger with each subsequent layer, with the third layer, the world of the empire, reaching an astonishing area of 1,000 li in circumference. Such a vast internal space, capable of storing living beings, made Lu Changsheng wonder if the first emperor could truly have created this. Towards this person whose hands were stained with the blood of the original owner's descendants, the imperial jade seal instinctively recoiled, trembling incessantly, wanting to escape Lu Changsheng's demonic grasp. Lu Changsheng snorted coldly, clapping his hands together, his arms colliding like 2 divine pillars. Boom! Qin Yi, located in the Golden Luan Hall, only felt a violent tremor, as if a great earthquake had occurred. The imperial jade seal, unable to bear the strain, let out a mournful cry before finally settling down. Then, Lu Changsheng's divine thought, like a vast curtain descending from the sky, began to penetrate deeper into the imperial jade seal layer by layer. Qin Yi, sitting on the dragon throne in the Golden Luan Hall, felt that most of the control he had gained over the past 100 years was rapidly disintegrating. No, Qin Yi's face revealed a look of terror. If the imperial jade seal were refined by Lu Changsheng, wouldn't he be doomed? You were forged by the ancestor first emperor and are the protective treasure of my great Qin. How can you tolerate an outsider controlling you? Qin Yi roared hysterically. Over the past 100 years, he had long known that the imperial jade seal, nourished by 2 millennia of dragon qi, had developed a trace of sentience that other peerless grade Dao weapons did not possess. Qin Yi's strength was like an ant before Lu Changsheng, so he could only place his hopes on the imperial jade seal's own resistance. However, the imperial jade seal, having just suffered a violent blow, did not want to deal with him. It even stripped away his divine soul imprint and kicked him out of its internal space. The sentience born within the imperial jade seal had realized that this guy was an utter good-for-nothing. With its help, he couldn't even refine the imperial jade seal for over 100 years, and when trouble arose, he would only hide behind it. Anyway, your old Qin family is almost finished, so I might as well abandon the dark and embrace the light. Thus, with the imperial jade seal giving up its resistance, Lu Changsheng refined it in just a few breaths. As soon as Qin Yi appeared outside, he saw Lu Changsheng looking at him with a half-smile. Cold sweat poured down him, and he immediately knelt down with a thud, kowtowing and begging for mercy. Don't kill me, I know many secrets, and I once served as the emperor of Great Qin. I can help you control the court, and I can also. Before Qin Yi could finish speaking, his body directly exploded into a mist of blood, and his divine soul fell into Lu Changsheng's hands, then was thrown into the spirit transformation bottle. As for secrets, Lu Changsheng still had the divine souls of the 3 divine lords that he hadn't refined. Divine lords have lived for tens of thousands of years. Who could know more secrets than them? As for controlling the court, that was even less necessary. All those with imperial bloodline in Shenyang City had been cleanly eliminated by him. To then let members of the imperial family help him control the court would be laughable, wouldn't it? After casually dealing with Qin Yi, Lu Changsheng redirected his attention to the imperial jade seal. The first emperor's secret treasure was in its 3rd layer of space, the world of the empire. It was simply placed there, without any restriction set up. Because the imperial jade seal itself was the best protection. Only by fully refining the imperial jade seal, or by reaching the 8th tribulation realm, could one enter the 3rd layer of space. This was also the reason why Qin Yi had yearned for it for many years but failed to obtain it. Now, he no longer needed to hope for the first emperor's secret treasure. Because he was already a dead man. The first emperor's secret treasure contained only 3 things. Over 1,500 soul crystals, dozens of Tao weapons of varying grades, and the human emperor ancestral dragon scripture cultivated by the first emperor. Clearly, these were all things that could allow the Qin family to rise rapidly after its decline. Unfortunately, over the past 2 millennia, the overall strength of the martial Tao world has severely declined, leading to no one being able to inherit the secret treasure. Even when a Qin Yi emerged, he died at Liu Chengsheng's hands just as he was about to obtain the secret treasure. However, thinking of this, Liu Chengsheng suddenly discovered a suspicious point. In his previous simulations, he had twice encountered a mysterious 7 tribulation martial god holding the imperial jade seal. By logical deduction, that person should have been the current Qin Yi. This means that in the future, Qin Yi did indeed completely refine the imperial jade seal, obtained the first emperor's secret treasure, and even passed the 7th lightning tribulation. However, in the simulation of the demon Buddha's chaotic world, the barbarians obtained the first emperor's secret treasure from Shenyang City decades later, and the simulator even stated that the first emperor's secret treasure actively revealed its whereabouts. From the timeline in the simulation, it was clear that Qin Yi obtained the secret treasure earlier, but it ultimately fell into the hands of the barbarians. This made Liu Chengsheng suspect whether the divine court played some unsavory role in this. After all, the divine court had always treated the barbarians like their future favored children. It would not be surprising for them to perform an act of treasure gifting. As for why the divine court would allow the barbarians to become the protagonists of the future world, Liu Chengsheng was very confused. Perhaps he would find the answer in the memories of the divine lords then. System, recharge, simulate. With the first emperor's secret treasure in hand, Liu Chengsheng was now somewhat wealthy and planned to begin his push to the divine power realm. 176. 10,000 times the magic power. The top-level divine product Dharma image, the great power heavenly dragon. Open black lens bracket recharge successful, consumed 256 money, simulation begins. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket at 17, you slew 3 divine lords, destroyed the Tianji pavilion, and obtained the first emperor's secret treasure in the Great Qin Imperial Mausoleum. After that, you plan to prepare for your breakthrough to the divine power realm. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket 3 days later, you collected 9 Xingluo sect secret decrees, opened the Star Luo secret realm, and entered it. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket after effortlessly destroying the secret realm spirit, you relied on your powerful physical body, comparable to a supreme Tao weapon, to rampage through the Star Luo secret realm, which was filled with formations, and quickly arrived before the treasury. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket after breaking through the protective formation, you entered the treasury and gained a lot. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket at this time, what you valued most was the Star Luo sect's cultivation technique, the star aspect heavenly Luo scripture, which could be cultivated to the divine power realm. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket according to the star aspect heavenly Luo scripture, to break through to the divine power realm, one must condense their own innate divine ability from the 3 great hidden treasures. Divine abilities are further divided into little divine power, intermediate divine power, great divine power, and limitless divine power, according to their level of profoundness. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. A single hidden treasure can only condense a little divine power, 2 great hidden treasures can condense an intermediate divine power, and only when all 3 great hidden treasures are opened is there hope of condensing a great divine power. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. As for limitless divine power, it cannot be directly condensed from a hidden treasure, but requires a series of other stringent conditions. For example, the limitless divine power recorded in the Heavenly Jade Book, the Zan universe, requires complete comprehension of the first 9 great divine powers and their fusion into one before it can be reverse engineered. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. In addition, the first innate divine ability will also affect the future development of the divine power realm. If the first innate divine ability is a great divine power, then it will be much easier to condense other great divine powers in the future, otherwise, it will be 10 or even 100 times more difficult. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The star aspect heavenly Luo scripture only recorded the method for condensing divine abilities, but did not record any divine abilities. You could only choose to condense the great divine powers from the Heavenly Jade Book. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The divine soul hidden treasure has already taken shape, and the physical body hidden treasure is in the process of forming. Currently, the most important thing for you is to open the origin chi hidden treasure. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. However, opening the origin chi hidden treasure is not easy, because the current cultivation system of the Little Yuan realm is almost fragmented, and vastly different from the ancient era. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. In the ancient era, the three great hidden treasures were almost universally known, so even if ancient martial artists cultivated to the martial god realm, they would not abandon the cultivation of their physical body and magical power. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. But now, the three great hidden treasures are almost absolute secrets. After the Tao body realm, people no longer pay attention to physical body cultivation, and after the Faxiong realm, people no longer pay attention to magical power cultivation. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. There's no need to mention the physical body. You have already cultivated to the threshold of forming the physical body hidden treasure, and it is estimated to take shape in 20 to 30 years. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. But magical power is your weakness. In the ancient era, in addition to the heaven, earth, and human-grade Dharma idols, there were also divine-grade Dharma idols above them that could rival martial gods. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. According to their power, they were further divided into low-grade divine-grade Dharma idols, mid-grade divine-grade Dharma idols, high-grade divine-grade Dharma idols, and peak-grade divine-grade Dharma idols. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Corresponding to low-grade martial gods of 1 to 3 tribulations, mid-grade martial gods of 4 to 6 tribulations, high-grade martial gods of 7 to 9 tribulations, and peak-grade martial gods who have opened more than 10,000 divine beings. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. To form the origin chi secret treasure, you must first make your magical power capable of simultaneously condensing 99 mid-grade divine-grade Dharma idols, or 9 peak-grade divine-grade Dharma idols. Close black lens bracket. Lu Chengsheng was a little surprised to see this. His current Azure Dragon Dharma idol, after repeated refinement of true dragon blood in the simulation, had become even more powerful than when he killed Li Zizai. It could probably contend with a 5 tribulation martial god, making it a mid-grade divine-grade Dharma idol. But the problem was that he could only condense it with soul power. With his current magical power, it would probably need to increase 100-fold to condense the Azure Dragon Dharma idol. And the simulation told him that he needed to simultaneously condense 99 such Dharma idols to meet the standard. So, wouldn't his magical power need to increase 10,000 times more? Lu Chengsheng had already condensed a large golden core of magical power. He still needed to condense 9,999 such large golden cores to reach the threshold for forming the origin chi secret treasure, right? Even though he was already invincible in the world, Lu Chengsheng still felt a prickling sensation on his scalp. Now, he could finally understand what the demon Buddha meant by magical power being as vast as the sea, endless. If he could truly reach that level, he could kill the vast majority of 9 tribulation martial gods with just his magical power. Open black lens bracket. Subsequently, you began to cultivate the star aspect heavenly Luo scripture. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. This scripture is similar to the stellar soul strengthening method, both absorbing the power of stars to strengthen oneself. However, unlike the stellar soul strengthening method, this scripture can not only transform the power of stars into soul power, but also into magical power and chi and blood power. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Half a day later, you transformed all of your original vermilion bird magical power and all the true chi and gangyuan sealed by the 5 evil condensing pill method into the unique starry sky magical power of the star aspect heavenly Luo scripture. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. 3 months later, you felt that simply absorbing the power of constellations to increase magical power was too inefficient. At this rate, it would probably take over 1,000 years to open the origin chi hidden treasure. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Directly refining origin stones and transforming them into magical power was much faster. At your current efficiency, you could condense 1 large golden core of magical power in 10 days. Even so, it would still take about 270 years to qualify for forming the origin chi hidden treasure. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. So you began to refine the divine souls of the 3 divine lords, to see if there were any methods for rapidly increasing magical power in the minds of these old antiques. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. As a result, you actually found a 9 aperture golden core method, from the memory of Heavenly Dipper Divine Lord, one of the 3 divine lords. close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. This method can open 9 apertures on the golden core, improving the quality of the golden core, and thereafter, it can increase the efficiency of refining origin stones by up to 9 times. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. It was originally a small trick from the ancient era, long since discarded into a corner of memory by Heavenly Dipper Divine Lord, who had no physical body and did not cultivate magical power. Unexpectedly, you found it again. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. With this 9 aperture golden core method, plus a sufficient supply of origin stones, you were confident of reaching the minimum threshold for opening the origin chi hidden treasure within 27 years. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. However, you didn't have many origin stones left, so you left the Star Luo's secret realm and came to the Tianyuan continent, preparing to plunder origin stones. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Unexpectedly, as soon as you returned to the Tianyuan continent, profound Sky God Emperor, who had completed integrating with the Tao, came knocking, saying he thought you would keep hiding and dare not come out. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Immediately after, a fierce battle broke out between the two of you. A quarter of an hour later, profound Sky God Emperor was miserably defeated and fled back into the heavenly Tao's secret realm, no longer daring to venture out. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At 18, you extensively plundered origin stones on the Tianyuan continent, and used the soul technique scattering beans into soldiers to have hundreds of golden armored divine beings excavate veins and mine origin stones for you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Your series of actions caused widespread wailing in the martial arts world, where even a single stone was hard to find. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. But you never paid attention to the outside noise, focusing wholeheartedly on refining origin stones and increasing your magical power. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At 21, your magical power increased 1,000-fold, and you could already condense 10 Azure Dragon Dharma idols. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At 27, your magical power increased by more than 3,000 times. In the same year, a strong man from beyond the heavens descended, and profound Sky God Emperor fought him, neither side gaining the upper hand, and both fell into a stalemate. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Profound Sky God Emperor invited you to act with him and promised to give you the divine tree, but you paid no attention. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At 32, you refined all the soul crystals in your possession, and your divine soul power surged again. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At 37, after absorbing hundreds of billions of origin stones, the magical power within your dantian had formed a vast sea of magical power. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. And over these 20 years, you also used the human emperor ancestral dragon scripture as the framework, and further absorbed and combined the advantages of other dragon-type cultivation techniques in the world, creating a peak-grade divine-grade Dharma idol, the Great Might Heavenly Dragon. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At this time, you could already condense 7 Great Might Heavenly Dragons, and could completely defeat all divine lords with just your magical power. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At 41, your physical body hidden treasure took shape, and your physical body power surged again. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At 44, the magical power within your physical body was almost endless, finally reaching the threshold for forming the origin chi hidden treasure. A smile appeared on your face. Decades of arduous cultivation, day after day, had finally paid off. Close black lens bracket. 177. The essence of supernatural power, the artistic conception of heaven and earth. At 45 years old, 80% of the origin stones on the Tianyuan continent had been absorbed by you, making origin stones a rare commodity. Furthermore, due to your use of golden armored divine beings to mine a large number of origin stone veins, even the heaven and earth origin chi had become much thinner. A group of martial artists cried out in sorrow, proclaiming that the world was entering the age of Dharma decline. However, you didn't care about any of this, because you knew very well that if you couldn't stop the strong man from beyond the heavens, let alone the age of Dharma decline, the entire world would head towards destruction. At 46 years old, profound Sky God Emperor came knocking again. This time, you neither refused nor agreed, but instead said you would consider it for 3 days before giving a reply. The moment profound Sky God Emperor left, you immediately went to the outer heavens and found the strong man from beyond the heavens. You told him that you knew what he feared was not profound Sky God Emperor, but the heavenly Tao will behind him. If you could severely wound the heavenly Tao will from within for him, what benefits could he offer you? The strong man from beyond the heavens pointed at the divine tree and said, "This is a Tao origin tree, a rare treasure of the major thousand worlds. It absorbs the world's origin to bear Tao Yuan fruit. Consuming a Tao Yuan fruit can reduce the difficulty of comprehending divine abilities by more than 10,000 times. If you can accomplish this, I will give you one Tao Yuan fruit as a reward afterward." Tao origin tree, Tao Yuan fruit. So this is the strong man from beyond the heavens' true intention. Lu Chengsheng had always been curious about the purpose of that divine tree, never expecting it to be for helping people comprehend divine abilities. Lu Chengsheng's first reaction upon seeing this was, are divine abilities really that difficult to cultivate, to the point that the strong man from beyond the heavens has been plotting for so long? His second reaction was, it's a trap. If the Tao Yuan fruit was so precious, how could the strong man from beyond the heavens easily give it to others? The strong man from beyond the heavens had used divine abilities before, proving that he was at least a divine power realm expert. Why would he need to compromise with a martial artist who wasn't even in the divine power realm? Upon hearing this, you were suspicious, but to avoid angering the strong man from beyond the heavens, you outwardly agreed. Then, using the excuse that you needed some preparation time, you left the outer heavens and returned to the Tianyuan continent. 3 days later, profound Sky God Emperor came to your door, asking how your consideration was going. You said it depended on his sincerity. He asked if that divine tree wasn't enough. You said you didn't eat pie in the sky promises, but wanted tangible benefits. You learned from the Divine Lord's memory that deep within the heavenly Tao secret realm, there was a God Emperor's treasury, containing top-grade rare treasures collected by the Divine Court from the Little Yuan realm over 10,000 years. If profound Sky God Emperor could let you enter and choose 10 treasures, you weren't entirely unwilling to agree to him. Profound Sky God Emperor's face darkened, and he left without looking back, saying you were delusional as he departed. At 47 years old, you continued to refine origin stones, hoping to allow the origin chi secret treasure to be nurtured sooner. At 55 years old, you had almost completely consumed the remaining origin stones on the Tianyuan continent, finally causing the origin chi divine treasure to be nurtured. By this point, the soul sense, physical body, and origin chi 3 great divine treasures were all formed. You felt your strength had reached an unimaginable level, to the point where even the heavenly Tao seemed suppressible. At this time, profound Sky God Emperor, who had been repeatedly thwarted by the strong man from beyond the heavens, came knocking again, saying he was willing to agree to the conditions you proposed 9 years ago. You said it was too late now, and suppressed him with a flip of your hand. Then you went to the heavenly Tao secret realm and swept clean the God Emperor's treasury. Afterward, you suppressed the 5 great divine lords who had survived the strong man from beyond the heavens, and sat high in the divine court's imperial palace. You began to condense the great divine abilities recorded in the heavenly jade book. You discovered that even after opening the 3 great divine treasures, the great divine abilities remained incredibly profound and difficult to comprehend for you. Initially, you thought it was due to your insufficient comprehension ability. After consuming 3 Bodhi leaves, your comprehension ability increased by 30%, but you still couldn't make any progress with the great divine abilities. Great divine abilities are indeed difficult to cultivate. Lu Chengsheng showed an unsurprised expression. Below great divine abilities were little divine abilities and medium divine abilities. As a self-taught individual who had never encountered divine abilities, trying to condense a great divine ability right away was no less difficult than reaching the sky in a single bound. The Star Luo sect left behind a heavenly jade book full of great divine abilities. He wondered what they were thinking. Fortunately, there was still a rare treasure like the Tao origin tree, otherwise he would have to properly greet the ancestors of the Star Luo sect senior. Also, perhaps the demon Buddha had a way to reduce the difficulty. Subsequently, you left the heavenly Tao secret realm and found the demon Buddha in the small thunderclap temple ruins. You asked the demon Buddha how to condense great divine abilities. The demon Buddha was surprised that you could open up the 3 great divine treasures, and then said, "First release me, and then I will tell you the profound mystery." You released the seal on the demon Buddha. After the demon Buddha came out, he told you that to condense great divine abilities, the 3 great divine treasures were just the foundation, the most crucial thing was comprehension ability. Afterward, the demon Buddha asked in return, "Do you know what the essence of divine ability is?" Of course, you didn't know. Seeing this, the demon Buddha laughed and said, as long as you provide him with 1 billion blood sacrifices, he will tell you the answer. You said 1 billion blood sacrifices were too many, and you could only provide him with 100 million blood sacrifices. At this moment, you were the butcher and he was the meat, so the demon Buddha had no choice but to agree. Subsequently, you ordered the demon Buddha to go to Baiyuan and devour 100 million barbarian beings. The divine court had already been suppressed by you, and no one dared to interfere. After devouring 100 million blood sacrifices, the demon Buddha told you that the essence of divine ability is the concretization of heaven and earth concept. The earliest divine abilities were created by ancient sages who comprehended heaven and earth concept. Since you had no foundation in concept, trying to condense great divine abilities from the start was nothing but a pipe dream. You then asked the demon Buddha how to comprehend heaven and earth concept. The demon Buddha said this would require more blood sacrifices. After letting the demon Buddha devour another 100 million barbarian beings, he finally said, the current cultivation system has some missing parts. In fact, the divine grade Dharma idols of the ancient era also contained a small amount of heaven and earth concept. You can condense different types of divine grade Dharma idols, and then it will be much easier to comprehend heaven and earth concept, and the difficulty of condensing divine abilities will also be greatly reduced. Upon hearing this, you had some realization. In fact, the Bodhi tree was also very helpful for improving comprehension ability, but after so many years, you had used various methods, yet found it difficult to make the Bodhi tree sapling grow quickly. You then thought of the divine tree and the strong man from beyond the heavens' hands. Then you asked the demon Buddha, what is a Dao Yuan fruit? After the demon Buddha devoured another 100 million barbarians, he said, the Dao Yuan fruit is a miraculous item. After consuming it, within 15 minutes, it can greatly enhance your ability to comprehend heaven and earth concept. Furthermore, because a single Dao origin tree can only bear one Dao Yuan fruit, and the tree withers after the fruit ripens, this makes the Dao Yuan fruit extremely precious even in the profound yellow great world. A single Dao origin tree can only bear one Dao Yuan fruit. Lu Chengsheng was startled. The demon Buddha had no reason to lie about such a matter. And in the previous simulation, the strong man from beyond the heavens had promised Lu Chengsheng that after helping him destroy the heavenly Dao will, he would give Lu Chengsheng a Dao Yuan fruit as a reward. Now it seemed that he was indeed deceiving him. Fortunately, he was cautious enough not to immediately act against the heavenly Dao will, otherwise, his death would have been certain once the deed was done. 178. Kill the powerful outsiders. The vision of world destruction. Upon hearing this, you immediately understood that the strong man from beyond the heavens would never give you the Dao Yuan fruit. Your only options now were to either ascend to the upper realm or remain in the little Yuan realm and fight him to the death. Recalling the strange encounter after simulating ascension previously, you asked the demon Buddha where one would truly go after ascending from the little Yuan realm. After the demon Buddha devoured another 100 million blood sacrifices, he playfully said, before ancient times, one would ascend to the profound yellow great world, but ever since the demon race's invasion, this world has been polluted. Now, it's hard to say where one will ascend to. You then asked if there was a way to ensure a 100% ascension to the profound yellow great world. The demon Buddha said that it could only be solved from the root. If you could completely clean up the pollution left by the demon race, you would naturally be able to ascend to the profound yellow great world. Your expression was a little grim. You asked the demon Buddha if there was a method that would allow you to fight a divine power realm strong man beyond your realm. The demon Buddha laughed and said, of course there is, and many of them. But given your current environment and conditions, only the heavenly demon reverse chaos grand formation is suitable for you. Once you lure your enemy into this formation, as long as they haven't condensed a great divine power, they are sure to die. If the opponent possesses a great divine power, then you either run away or you can only wait for death. Since this formation was so powerful, its price was naturally not cheap. The demon Buddha quoted 3 billion blood sacrifices, with no room for negotiation. You readily agreed, then told him to devour all the barbarian race, and if that wasn't enough, to use the Yao race to make up the difference. After devouring 3 billion blood sacrifices, the demon Buddha's strength greatly increased, and he tried to escape, but you slapped him to the ground. You grabbed him by the neck, made him hand over the heavenly demon reverse chaos grand formation, and then you sealed him again. The heavenly demon reverse chaos grand formation was extremely profound. Even with ample materials, it took you, an array grand master, a full 5 years to successfully set it up. Afterward, you placed the sealed profound sky god emperor within the formation, and then went to destroy the heavenly Tao secret realm, severely wounding the heavenly Tao will. Now, the strong man from beyond the heavens could finally enter and exit the little Yuan realm at will. Just as the strong man from beyond the heavens was about to make his move on you, you used the excuse of resolving the hidden danger of the profound sky god emperor to lure him into the heavenly demon reverse chaos grand formation. Upon entering the grand formation, the strong man from beyond the heavens sensed that something was amiss, but it was too late. The formation had already been activated by you. A towering demonic figure appeared within the formation. After a great battle with the strong man from beyond the heavens, it devoured him, and the Tao origin tree naturally fell into your hands. When the matter was done, you removed the formation, but to your horror, you discovered that the demonic figure did not disappear with the removal of the formation. Instead, it began to indiscriminately destroy everything in its sight. Soon after, the little Yuan realm was destroyed by the demonic figure, and you escaped by ascending to the upper realm, but then you discovered that the upper realm was still the void realm, and you were roasted to death by a strange monster. Before ascension, you consumed the unripe Dao Yuan fruit. You felt that the heavenly Tao concept was incredibly clear before your eyes, and coupled with witnessing the demonic figure destroying the world, you comprehended a trace of the concept of destruction. You died. As expected, this demon Buddha is as sinister as ever. The demon Buddha was a double-edged sword, harming others while also harming himself. However, the method he previously proposed, of condensing different types of divine-grade Dharma idols to reduce the difficulty of comprehending concepts, could be tried more often in simulations. After all, with Lu Chengsheng's strength after opening the three great physical body hidden treasures, even the profound sky god emperor, who had merged with the Tao, could be easily suppressed by him. He could be said to possess all the resources of the entire Little Yuan realm. In this situation, divine-grade Dharma idols were not a great challenge for him. Also, the trace of the concept of destruction that was finally comprehended, what kind of power would it possess? Was it an introduction to the concept of destruction? Simulation ended. You can keep one of the following. 1. Cultivation realm at 60 years old. 2. Cultivation experience at 60 years old. I choose 1. Boom. In an instant, a sound like surging waves emanated from Lu Chengsheng's dantian, like the ocean roaring and raging. Endless magical power surged from the void realm, pouring into his dantian, directly forming a sea of magical power there. Within the sea, countless reflections of stars shimmered, beautiful and magnificent. This was the stellar magical power cultivated from the star aspect heavenly Luo scripture. His previously cultivated vermilion bird golden core and the 8 types of true origin protective aura he had sealed all merged into the sea of magical power, becoming a part of the stellar magical power, which was 100 times purer than vermilion bird magical power. And the sea of magical power continued to expand. When it reached a certain limit, an origin chi furnace quickly formed. This was the origin chi secret realm. With the emergence of the origin chi secret realm, Lu Chengsheng's perception of the world changed. Previously, all the origin chi of heaven and earth appeared the same to him, without much distinction. But now, his divine thought could sense countless types within it. There were gentle ones, murderous ones, vast ones, life-filled ones, and also completely silent ones. Lu Chengsheng had not expected that the origin chi of heaven and earth had so many types, and that different types of origin chi would have different effects on people. For example, murderous origin chi made people irritable, silent origin chi made people's bodies stiff, and vast origin chi made people broad-minded. Lu Chengsheng also observed that martial artists in the imperial city, by absorbing different types of origin chi through their cultivation technique, would, over time, cause their bodies to undergo mutations that closely resembled that type of origin chi. Martial artists called this characteristic, cultivation technique attribute, believing it was an effect brought about by the cultivation technique. Lu Chengsheng used to think so too, unaware that origin chi was the root of everything. The types of origin chi were countless, and cultivation technique was merely a medium for guiding a certain type of origin chi into the body. The star aspect heavenly Luo scripture, that Lu Chengsheng was currently cultivating, which absorbed the power of starlight, was actually a type of gentle and vast origin chi. After the origin chi physical body hidden treasure appeared, the physical body hidden treasure also appeared with it. However, unlike the origin chi physical body hidden treasure, the physical body hidden treasure appeared in the heart. As soon as it appeared, Lu Chengsheng's bones, internal organs, and skin underwent earth-shattering changes. Layers of dead skin rapidly peeled off, old bones were expelled from his body, his 5 internal organs and 6 viscera became even more crystal clear and firm, and a vast life force flowed through his flesh and blood, causing his flesh and blood to continuously transform. After more than 10 breaths, the physical body's transformation ended. At this time, a pile of dead skin and broken bones remained in place, while Lu Chengsheng's physical body appeared even more perfect and flawless, like an immortal descending to the mortal world. Lu Chengsheng's original physical body was already comparable to a peerless grade Dao weapon. The feedback from the birth of the physical body hidden treasure, coupled with the washing of the physical body by the sea of magical power, directly caused his physical body to transform again, reaching the extreme level of a peerless grade Dao weapon. Throughout the entire Little Yuan realm, it would probably be difficult to find anything more solid than his physical body. However, even though the 2 great physical body hidden treasures had appeared, the reception of cultivation in this simulation was still not over. Within Lu Chengsheng's mind, a large amount of comprehension regarding the concept of destruction continuously surged forth. At the same time, an inexplicable destructive fluctuation emanated. Under the interaction of heaven and earth, a sudden anomaly occurred in the outside world. The setting sun in the west and the rising crescent moon in the east suddenly disappeared. The world was plunged into darkness, with only the stars in the sky continuously shining. The beings of the Tian Yuan continent were terrified and uneasy, not knowing what had happened. At this moment, countless shining stars in the sky fell in unison, as if the world was about to be destroyed. 179. The power of the artistic conception of destruction. How can I be a thief like Cao? This scene was too terrifying. All living beings on Tian Yuan continent who witnessed this scene thought it was the end of the world, and one by one, they either knelt or prostrated themselves on the ground, praying for divine protection, not daring to move an inch. Only those from major powers knew that this scene was not truly the end of the world, but an anomaly born from the heaven and earth's perception. The sun and moon vanished, the stars fell, and the world plunged into ultimate darkness. Could it be that another great calamity is about to arise in the world? Someone trembled, their expression nervous, and their voice filled with dread. Such a terrifying anomaly had only appeared 10,000 years ago. But shortly after its appearance, the ancient war suddenly erupted, causing the heavens to collapse and the earth to crack, with countless lives lost, and even the once flourishing martial Dao civilization suffered a complete duansang. Could it be another calamity similar to the ancient war approaching? Compared to the martial artists in the human realm who made wild guesses based on the anomaly, the divine lords in the heavenly Dao secret realm above the 9 heavens could directly sense the source of the anomaly. It was an extremely destructive power, so terrifying that they had never felt such power even from profound Sky God Emperor. As a result, the heavenly Dao itself felt a strong sense of threat and had no choice but to issue a world-ending anomaly to warn all living beings. This anomaly was most likely caused by Lu Chengsheng, that anomaly. Who knows if he obtained some strange treasure or cultivated some demonic technique. Even if the divine lords wanted to stop him. But the deaths of the 3 divine lords, Thunder Hidden, Heavenly Fate, and Heavenly Gang, were still fresh in their minds. The divine lords did not want to follow in their footsteps and could only turn a blind eye. Now, all of the divine court's hope rested on profound Sky God Emperor. They only hoped he could emerge from seclusion soon and restore order to the world. Outer heavens. Under the divine tree, a gaunt old man opened his eyes, his expression uncertain with surprise. Entry into the concept of destruction. As a strong man in the divine power realm, he was naturally extremely sensitive to the power of concept and believed he could not have sensed it wrong. In a middle thousand worlds, someone was actually able to comprehend a heavenly Dao concept, and it was the concept of destruction, which was extremely difficult to comprehend, making him slightly surprised. But it was only surprise. He had already comprehended several concepts, and one of them had even reached major achievement, so a mere entry into the concept of destruction could not threaten him. What truly worried him was whether this person would affect his arrival. This person had comprehended the concept of destruction, and if he were to merge with the heavenly Dao, it would cause immense obstruction to his arrival. The anomaly of the sun and moon vanishing, the stars falling, and the world plunging into ultimate darkness, lasted for a full 10 breaths before disappearing. Meanwhile, Lu Chengsheng in the imperial mausoleum of Shenyang City had completely entered the concept of destruction. Heavenly Dao concept, it is a deeper manifestation of the essence of the power of heaven and earth. If the power of heaven and earth is compared to iron ore, then the heavenly Tao concept is like forging that iron ore into a steel knife. At this moment, every move and stance of Lu Changsheng could receive the blessing of the concept of destruction, making him many times stronger than simply wielding the power of heaven and earth. If he were to then comprehend divine ability from the concept of destruction, its power would be even more unstoppable. Comprehending concept, enhancing concept, and then comprehending divine ability from concept, this should be the way most Soul Calamity Realm martial artists break through to the divine power realm. After comprehending the concept of destruction, Lu Changsheng's understanding of the divine power realm deepened considerably, giving him a feeling of seeing the clear sky after the clouds parted. Currently, Lu Changsheng has only just entered the concept of destruction, and he is still very far from comprehending related divine ability, but it has also significantly improved his strength. As for how much his strength has increased, in this world, apart from profound Sky God Emperor, probably only a supreme Tao weapon could test it. Lu Changsheng only had the startling Radiant Sword and the Imperial Jade Seal, these two supreme Tao weapons, so of course, he was reluctant to use them for testing. So he turned his gaze to the old skin and broken bones he had just shed. Both of these were as tough as supreme Tao weapons and could certainly be tested. Lu Changsheng pointed a finger, releasing only a simple finger force. Bang! With a loud bang, the earth shook. Where the finger force struck, a large pit suddenly appeared. Even the old skin and broken bones, whose hardness was comparable to a supreme Tao weapon, turned into ashes amidst the loud bang. The power of heavenly Tao concept is indeed terrifying. Lu Changsheng nodded with satisfaction. Supreme Tao weapons carried a trace of an undying aura. In the past, to achieve this, he had to use the Great Brightness Fist imprint. Now, a casual strike could shatter it. If he were to use the Great Brightness Fist imprint again, even a strong man from beyond the heavens would probably not dare to face it head-on. Next, Lu Changsheng returned to Shenyang Palace, intending to continue the simulation. Unexpectedly, after returning to Shenyang Palace, an interesting thing happened. The chief eunuch of the Imperial Household Department, seeing that it was getting late, presented him with a list of concubines from the harem who wished to serve him tonight. The number was not large, only a few dozen. They were all the most powerful concubines in the harem. In fact, more than half of these concubines had already given birth to dragon offspring. However, all those with Qin bloodline had died by Lu Changsheng's hand during the day. These concubines originally had an irreconcilable blood feud with Lu Changsheng, but for the sake of their family and personal interests, they still put themselves on the list, hoping to humble themselves before him. Lu Changsheng stated, "Am I the kind of person like Cao Cao?" After saying that, he kicked the chief eunuch of the Imperial Household Department out. Then Lu Changsheng summoned Commander Shen Lian, the commander of the mysterious Black Guard, and made a throat-slitting gesture to him. That night, a massacre erupted in the harem. All concubines who had a blood feud with Lu Changsheng became the victims of the mysterious Black Guard's blades. Even many eunuchs and palace maids favored by these concubines were affected. For a time, countless casualties occurred. Lu Changsheng had almost forgotten about this matter, but he didn't expect these people to jump out themselves. In that case, those who should be cleansed would be cleansed. Lest they remain in the harem and constantly tempt him to become a Cao Cao. Shenyang Palace. Hall of Mental Cultivation. Lu Changsheng sat cross-legged on the brand new dragon bed and continued the simulation. Divine grade Dharmakaya is also a great help for comprehending law. Next, I can condense more top-tier divine grade Dharmakayas, and then find a suitable opportunity to ambush and kill strong man from beyond the heavens to obtain Dao Yuan fruit. Lu Changsheng thought to himself. System, recharge, continue simulation. Recharge successful, consumed 256 money, simulation started. At 17, you collected 9 Xingluo sect secret decrees, entered the Star Luo secret realm, and obtained the Star Luo sect legacy. Afterward, you obtained the Heavenly Demon Reverse Chaos Grand Formation from the Demon Buddha. 3 months later, profound Sky God Emperor came to provoke you, but was severely injured by your single move and fled in a sorry state. At 18, you established the Martial Arts Hall and extensively collected all martial arts secret manuals in the world. At 20, you refined over 20,000 soul crystals, and your divine soul power significantly improved. At 25, you used humanity's undying scripture as the framework, combined with other martial arts, and created a divine grade Dharmakaya, Kunpeng. At 27, a strong man from beyond the heavens descended, forming a standoff with profound Sky God Emperor. At 40, after more than a decade of your painstaking research, the Kunpeng Dharmakaya advanced to a top-tier divine-grade Dharmakaya, Divine Speed Kunpeng. At 42, you primarily used the Great Brightness Fist imprint, combined with other Buddhist martial arts, and created a divine-grade Dharmakaya, Buddha Ancestor. At 50, the Buddha Ancestor Dharmakaya advanced to a top-tier divine-grade Dharmakaya, Great Sun Tathagata. 180. I am willing to worship as my foster father. The Ancient Demon World. At 52 years old, you primarily use the Vermilion Bird Profound Art, combined with other Fire Attribute Ultimate Arts, to create a divine-grade Dharma idol, the Vermilion Bird. At 60 years old, the Vermilion Bird Dharma idol advanced to the top-tier divine-grade Dharma idol, the Lihuo Vermilion Bird. At 61 years old, Profound Sky God Emperor came to your door, hoping you could put aside past grievances and join forces with him to drive away the strong man from beyond the heavens. You ignored him, but secretly began preparing to ambush and kill the strong man from beyond the heavens. At 62 years old, you felt that the Heavenly Demon Reverse Chaos Grand Formation could only be set up in fixed areas, which was too rigid. Thus, you used your formation attainments to modify it. At 72 years old, you spent 10 years and finally successfully modified the Heavenly Demon Reverse Chaos Grand Formation. From now on, it will be activated by a formation diagram. As long as you carry the formation diagram, you can activate it at any time, no longer limited to a fixed location. At 90 years old, over these many years, you refined 99% of the spirit stones in the world, and your magical power doubled again. At 92 years old, you primarily used the Divine Firmament Scripture, combined with other lightning element cultivation techniques, and successfully created a divine-grade Dharma idol, the Thunder God. At 100 years old, the Thunder God Dharma idol advanced to the top-tier divine-grade Dharma idol, the Immortal Thunder Emperor. At 101 years old, Profound Sky God Emperor came to your door again, saying that if you didn't act, the world would be destroyed. As a result, you directly suppressed him and even sent him to the strong man from beyond the heavens. You stated that you had drifted for half your life without meeting a wise lord, and if the strong man from beyond the heavens did not abandon you, you were willing to acknowledge him as your adoptive father, with Profound Sky God Emperor as your pledge of allegiance. The strong man from beyond the heavens was greatly surprised, then politely declined your request to acknowledge him as your adoptive father. He said that your strength was too great, and he dared not accept such a formidable, good son, as you. However, you two could cooperate. You asked how to cooperate. He said that as long as you helped him refine the origin of the Little Yuan realm, after the matter was accomplished, he would give you a Dao Yuan fruit. This guy is drawing another big pie. Lu Chengsheng smiled. In the last simulation, he had already learned from the Demon Buddha that a Dao origin tree could only bear one Dao Yuan fruit before withering. This strong man from beyond the heavens was using information asymmetry to trick him into doing free labor. However, now that he had the Heavenly Demon Reverse Chaos Grand Formation which could be activated anywhere, it was still unknown who would have the last laugh. You knew that the strong man from beyond the heavens was intentionally deceiving you, but you still agreed, because you also wanted a ripe Dao Yuan fruit. The strong man from beyond the heavens was using you, but why weren't you using him? Afterward, you and the strong man from beyond the heavens worked together, inside and out, to refine the world origin of the Little Yuan realm. Under your combined efforts, the speed at which the Dao origin tree absorbed the world origin power nearly doubled. At 120 years old, just as the world origin was more than half absorbed and the Dao Yuan fruit was about to ripen, the strong man from beyond the heavens suddenly stopped. He said that the other half of the world origin had been polluted by devilish qi, and continuing to absorb it would alert the demon race. Seeing that you didn't believe him, he took you to an extremely high point in the outer heavens, where you could see the entire Little Yuan realm. Here, you clearly saw a large expanse of devilish qi in the distance, almost engulfing half of the Little Yuan realm. It was just that the devilish qi was located at an extremely high position, which you hadn't noticed before. You asked the strong man from beyond the heavens where this devilish qi came from. The strong man from beyond the heavens said he didn't know either. When he arrived here 2,400 years ago, the devilish qi already existed. You secretly speculated it might be related to the ancient war. You then asked the strong man from beyond the heavens if he had entered the devilish qi to investigate. The strong man from beyond the heavens stated that he had not, and advised you not to go in either, because there were several auras inside that made him feel extremely dangerous. Then you curiously asked, if the world origin could not be absorbed, How else could this Dao Yuan fruit quickly ripen? The strong man from beyond the heavens said, "This is simple, just absorb the flesh and blood of living beings." Living beings are inherently nurtured by the world origin power, and naturally carry a trace of extremely faint world origin power. Afterward, you and the strong man from beyond the heavens returned to the Little Yuan realm. After the Dao origin tree devoured billions of lives from the demon and barbarian clans, the Dao Yuan fruit finally fully ripened. Just then, the strong man from beyond the heavens tore off his long-worn disguise and began to ruthlessly attack you. However, he didn't expect you to carry a strange item like the Heavenly Demon Reverse Chaos Grand Formation. You directly used the Grand Formation to summon a terrifying demonic shadow to devour him, and then the demonic shadow began to indiscriminately destroy everything. You swallowed the ripe Dao Yuan fruit from a distance, then watched the demonic shadow destroy the world, comprehending the concept of destruction. After the medicinal power of the Dao Yuan fruit disappeared, your concept of destruction advanced from basic to minor achievement. In addition, because you witnessed the death of countless living beings, you also comprehended the concept of slaughter, and your strength greatly increased. But your strength was still quite a distance from the demonic shadow. When it turned its attention to you, you directly shattered the void realm and ascended away. After a period of dizziness, you reappeared on the ascension platform. When you found out that this was still the Spirit Void Great World, you immediately took out the second set of Heavenly Demon Reverse Chaos Grand Formation that you had prepared long ago. The terrifying demonic shadow descended again. From the 5 majestic halls connected to the ascension platform, a massive, deformed monster flew out of each, engaging in battle with the terrifying demonic shadow. You escaped from the ascension platform amidst the chaos. After arriving outside, you found that the fairyland you saw on the ascension platform had suddenly disappeared. Below you was scorched demonic soil, and above your head were 3 blood-red suns. You chose to escape towards the southeast. Half a day later, you encountered a group of sentient demonic creatures. Through soul searching, you learned that this was the ancient devil great world. Only demonic creatures could survive here. If external beings mistakenly entered this realm, they would be corrupted into demonic creatures before long. You felt uneasy and fled in another direction. Along the way, you disguised yourself as a demonic creature, immediately hiding when you encountered demonic creatures with powerful auras, and thus managed to survive for several days. 3 days later, the guiding envoy found you. He said that a tracking mark had already been planted on you, and it would be useless even if you fled to the ends of the earth. You angrily demanded to know his origin. The guiding envoy laughed, saying he was merely a servant preparing fresh meat for the lords of the Black Demon Mansion. Fortunately, you had only escaped for 3 days. If you had escaped for too long, and your flesh and blood were contaminated by devilish qi, the lords would not like it. After speaking, hundreds of eyeballs emerged from the guiding envoy's body, all shooting out black death rays. You endured for a few breaths but ultimately fainted. When you woke up, you found yourself being continuously stir-fried in a large pot by a 6-armed demonic creature. However, because your flesh was too tough, it couldn't be cooked even after being stir-fried for a long time. In a fit of rage, the 6-armed demonic creature moved you to a steamer. Half a day later, you were steamed to death. You died. This ascension platform is indeed manipulated by the demon race. Lu Chengsheng's expression was solemn. He had actually suspected it for a long time, but still held a glimmer of hope, believing that perhaps only one ascension platform was controlled by evil beings, and that if he could escape, the outside world would still be the profound yellow great world. Now that it was confirmed in the simulator that it was the ancient devil great world, his last glimmer of hope was shattered. It seems that in the next simulation, in addition to achieving a breakthrough to the divine power realm, he also needed to find a way to go to other great worlds. As for what kind of great world, the requirements didn't need to be too high, it just couldn't be a great world where you immediately became food upon arrival.